I know, it just seems to be a reoccurring joke.
You'll get a phone call one day from me like 40 years from now. Hey, Jeff. Oh yeah.
I'm never going to live that down, am I?
Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, we're back again in the Asylum here. Halloween is officially kicking off this month and we're so happy and so pumped to be doing so. We are your hosts, Colin Peters,
John Rochetter,
and Jeff Manfred.
And today, guys, we are going to be talking about one of the best franchises of all time.
What, Friday the 13th?
Oh, here we go.
Oh boy.
No, the one that really kickstarted it all.
Nightmare on Elm Street?
What are you doing, man? Not that there's anything wrong with them. Actually, there's a lot wrong with that franchise in particular.
There's a lot wrong with these franchises in general. I mean, they're far from perfect, but, man, they're a lot of fun.
Hey, The Evil Dead is close to perfect. Close to perfect.
Well, we can't decide if the second one's a reboot or a sequel.
We already established that it's both. We already did this already, didn't we?
I guess we did, but it's not official from Hollywood standards.
Nobody cares. It's Hollywood.
Fuck it, nothing's perfect anyway. We're just gonna get this thing started.
But we already did. We just said that Friday the 13th is probably the best franchise.
It's definitely the most ongoing franchise.
The lengthiest.
Although, this franchise is catching up to it.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for these, actually, the next two coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, it's so pumped. I'm so pumped about it.
I'm just more mad because it got pushed back to next year.
Dick.
Anyway, today is going to be the first time I think we've really ever gone in depth about this, which is kind of shocking, but yet we've had talks off to the side about how we kind of wanted to wait a little bit on it, but we're doing the Halloween franchise today. Not the movie in particular, but the whole franchise, just like we did with Evil Dead. And this was a lot of fun. I was really looking forward to doing this one because I thought, all right, cool. We got some side projects coming up where I explain the timeline of how this whole thing works, and that'll be coming out eventually. But, I mean, to talk about this whole franchise in general is interesting because of how, like we said, we made a whole episode on Halloween 3 and how that just took a complete different direction than what was already started. But it's kind of made the franchise unique in a way.
Definitely. There were a lot of speed bumps along the way. This is the franchise that I actually grew up as a kid. I remember watching all of them when I was younger. I only watched like a handful of the Friday the 13th segments and then maybe like 3 installments of Nightmare, but it was always Halloween, the franchise, for me, that I had to watch as a kid, just because of that first movie. Because of how game-changing it was for me to try and get into these gateway horror movies, and for me in the 7th grade, when I first saw this movie, it changed everything.
I know for me, when I first got introduced to Halloween, it was actually at the beginning of, you know, like how on VHS tapes they had previews of other movies, whether they were coming to theater or they were coming out on VHS at that time. It was at the beginning of The Crow they had a preview for Halloween 6.
Oh, God.
Yeah, not that I jumped on watching that movie right away, but the trailer actually made it seem like it was better than what it was. But it had the theme, it had Michael Myers in it, and the title of it was actually called The Origin of Michael Myers.
You know, I know exactly what you're talking about because I have the VHS version of The Crow, and I remember that trailer, and it did look kinetic and energetic.
And then it wasn't.
Oh boy, we'll get into that. That's definitely on our stop.
I'm just saying that's how I actually first got introduced to Halloween. I knew about Pinhead, I knew about Jason, I knew about Freddy. Of course, some of the Universal classics like Wolfman, Frankenstein, Dracula.
Naturally.
But Michael kind of came a little later for me. I'm kind of awestruck to find out that this was one of the first guys, and really, I didn't know about him.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it was just because I was really young at the time of year or whatever.
Exposure and whatever
Yeah.
you get released in your mind, yeah. But we've had 9 movies so far, soon to be 11, with the other 2 coming out. Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. So it'll be 11 movies in total. So right now we've got 9.
Wow.
Catching up to Friday the 13th.
They
They
really
do
are.
9 fucking movies?
If you include Halloween 3, if you were to include it,
Okay.
I would include
it would be
it
9
just because
movies.
of the state of the franchise is counted as that. I mean,
Yeah.
really, it is a standalone movie, but it still technically is Halloween 3.
It's connected. Yeah, the title as a whole, is it really connected? Well, they throw the first movie in as kind of like this weird Twilight Zone spin, like, oh yeah, the movie Halloween was filmed, but we're continuing with the storyline of Halloween 3. So Halloween 1 and 2 didn't exist. They were movies.
In that movie.
A movie in a movie. Yes.
It's the inception of horror films.
It really was.
But having Tom Atkins probably helped out a lot more.
Tom fucking Atkins.
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, did you order that shirt?
I haven't done it yet, but I just got my paycheck recently, so it's gonna happen.
Explain the shirt, John.
I will explain the shirt. So there is a T-shirt that we saw when we were at the Mahoning Drive-In, and it's a stack of VHS tapes of all the known movies that Tom Atkins is in. Halloween 3, Escape from New York, The Fog, Night of the Creeps, and so on and so forth. And below those stack of VHS tapes, it says, Atkins or die. It's so true. You either Atkins or you die. It's great.
That shirt was glorious.
Oh, it's great.
Because Tom Atkins is the man.
I know. He's still rocking too in his mid 80s, I think, right now. He's still kicking.
He goes to conventions.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
When the conventions start back up, the 3 of us got to see him.
We're
That'd
going.
be fucking awesome.
It's happening.
Would just scream fucking Tom Atkins at him like,
Tom fucking Atkins!
Do you realize that one of your most famous quotes, Tom Atkins, is on a condom?
Oh my god, yeah!
That's a dumb question, Miss Grimpage.
Also at the Mahoning Drive-In, we had the, no pun intended, pleasure of finding out there is a Tom Atkins condom. With him from Halloween 3 and that exact quote that John just mentioned.
I'd like to think he knows about this too.
I would hope so. I think it was a PA-based company, too. So
Ooh,
Yeah, he's from PA. He's from Pittsburgh.
that's right. And hey, what better place to have the fall season Halloween than in Pennsylvania?
absolutely.
Fuck anybody who thinks that it's not.
Sorry, I was bitching the other day about the leaves in the yard. I'm like, fuck, now I gotta go get gas and get the leaf blower.
Yeah, I know. I see him on the farm and I'm like, oh no.
Oh my god! Well, yeah, we're here to talk about the Halloween franchise. I mean, we've already talked a little bit about the first movie and just how it did kickstart everything. You could say Psycho introduced the slasher genre to everybody, but it was Halloween that popularized the genre. Once Halloween came out, we got the slew of slasher movies. Friday the 13th, My Bloody Valentine, April Fool's Day. No holiday was safe. Seriously, every holiday was taken ever since Halloween came out because Irwin Yablans, the producer, executive producer, said, let's change the name from the Babysitter Murders to Halloween to make it more marketable. And it worked, even though that this movie, it could have taken place during any time during the year and it would still be as effective. It wasn't really until Halloween 3 where the name actually had a big impact to the story of what would happen to the children in Halloween. So that was the integral part. But we got Halloween, and it made $70 million off of a budget of $300,000. It was the most successfully independent movie at that time. It's just incredible in terms of its depiction of evil, how it was filmed with Dean Cundy, legendary cinematographer Dean Cundy, and what he revolutionized with that one-take scene in the very beginning. Everybody's changing the furniture as he's going through the house. You see the butcher knife come down on his sister, and then you get the reveal that it's just a kid.
Michael Myers' sister.
Michael Myers' sister,
Pronouns,
yes.
pal.
Dick.
You gotta act like no one has ever seen this movie before. And
I'm going to act like it, yes. I love talking about it. You get the reveal of the clown mask, and you see Michael Myers, the
You made it
6-year-old
sound
child.
like Dean Cundy stabbed his sister. That's why I'm saying it.
Maybe
You
he
gotta-
did. Actually, it was Deborah Hill, I think, that actually was doing the stabbing motion.
Yeah, the other producer.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, we're not going to get into the plot, but just how awesome it is. But then Halloween 2 came out 2 years later.
wait, I'm gonna hold you there. The little plot is he kills people and then moves on, and that's it. Stabs a dude into the wall. He kills a chick with a phone cord. That's it. It's killing people and moving on. There's really
Yeah.
no plot except for killing. It's a slasher flick. You're explaining like it's going to be this fantastical adventure. No, from point A to point B is him killing people.
Well, it's an adventure. I can't say all of it's fantastical.
I don't know.
But
I think it was.
Well, the first movie, yeah, absolutely.
It's cinema fantastical.
I talked about like the depiction of evil with Donald Pleasance and his hunt for his own patient. I mean, that adds a layer to this movie. So it's not just a slasher film. There's more happening under the surface. Friday the 13th is just a woman killing a bunch of camp counselors that may or may not have an involvement with her son's death.
Well, Sean Cunningham, the creator of Friday the 13th, even said Halloween was so popular, let's rip it off.
Yeah.
And it was such an easy concept because you can make it dirt cheap, and then when it got out, because teenagers especially wanted to just gobble up all that horror shit, we're just like, hey, let's go see this one, and before you knew it, it actually is a decent movie. I don't think it holds up well for as far as scares go.
The first Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty tame.
I would say both movies, actually, because I don't think they're dated. It's more or less like we also, as a society, probably are a little desensitized to slasher films at this point.
Oh, yeah, we've moved on totally.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not up with the gore, like what the sequels have brought and the special effects. But when you watch the original Halloween, you can really feel what they were trying to achieve with it. Yeah. I don't think you can make a movie like that again and have it be as effective unless you got a really clever filmmaker who knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think the closest thing they came to achieving it was actually in the 2018 version.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, I think, didn't quite get that. Although I will admit that, and we'll get into it when we get to the end of the franchise timeline, but I think that when you get to 2018's Halloween, you do have to give it a second viewing, and it gets better more and more you see it.
I think I've seen it 4 times, and every time I've seen it, there was something new I picked up on. Like, there's obvious ones that I picked up. I'll talk about later. Like, as we're already ready to talk about it, because I'm like, fuck all these other movies. I'd rather talk about 2018.
Fuck most of them. I'm gonna say that.
And 78 and 2018. Those are 2 I'm really pumped about. The rest I'm kind of iffy because. Oh my gosh. They don't even know what the fuck they did with this series.
Well, they didn't care.
Yeah.
They really didn't care.
They had an idea with the second one, although John Carpenter even admitted that when he did the second one, he didn't know what direction to take it. Because at that time, sequels were kind of like, well, you can make them, but what do you do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Exorcist 2, that was a horrific train wreck. And then you got Jaws 2 and the rest of those shitty sequels. And it's like, why even bother?
Oh, Jaws 3 was probably worth it, okay?
We already had this conversation about Jaws 3. Slash doing drugs, even he thought it sucked.
Yeah, it's from a heroin addict.
But going off Halloween 2, I think they did the best they could with that movie because it seemed to make sense with the logical continuation of Halloween Night not being over yet. The fact that his body disappeared at the very end. I counted 7 shots from that revolver in the opening scene in Halloween 2. There's some logical flaws that do happen. It looks great. Rick Rosenthal did a good job at emulating the style of John Carpenter, and aesthetic. It looks more. You could tell it was worth more money.
I'm just saying he probably reloaded just that one bullet just to make sure while we were looking.
Maybe he did, then clicked it off again. It's like, oh wait, I put that extra bullet in there and I clicked the trigger knowing it was empty. Oh god. It definitely has more blood. It definitely amped up the gore factor. Even though it's tame compared to most movies, there's a lot more gore in Halloween 2 than there is in the first one. And I think, from what I understand, is that Rick Rosenthal didn't want to do that. But the studio and Carpenter thought, well, these other horror movies that are coming out right now, everybody is seeing the potential of making more money if we amped up the violence. So he actually amped up the violence in the second one, much to the director's dismay.
Yeah, and I think John Carpenter was originally going to do Halloween 2, and they said they wanted more gore and more violence, and that just wasn't his thing. So he said he'll write it. And when he wrote it, he was like, I don't know what direction to take it, and that's why he added the sister concept to it. Because I even heard Quentin Tarantino in interviews say that he thought it was bullshit to make Jamie Lee Curtis the sister. Mm-hmm. And I agree. I'm glad that they wound up changing that then, because it kind of does kill the idea about the monster going after the babysitters.
The mystery.
Yeah, it was like the motive was there the whole time, when before, if you're just watching the first movie, you're like, what's the motive for this guy?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes there doesn't have to be a motive. I mean, I look at movies like Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer with Michael Rooker. He just kills for the fun of it. He just kills because he wants to kill. That's just what it seems like for what should have been the intent for Michael Myers. He wants to kill because he just wants to. Doesn't that strike as a more disturbing tone? I think it does.
And how much Donald Pleasance or Dr. Loomis was saying like the kid is pure evil, and like it would explain, yeah, he just wants to murder people. Mm-hmm. So that aspect I could understand too. So, but yeah, I understood the whole sister thing, but wasn't really important. Not really.
No, yeah. I don't think so.
Bunch of red herrings.
I also enjoyed the Donald Pleasance line about how he's in the house with the sheriff at the time, and he's explaining everything about Michael Myers and watching him and just saying that the kid's evil. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of thinking, is he possessed? Like, there's so much of a mystery that you get that they bait you in with the first movie that you just want more. But the problem with the second movie was you only got he's related to Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's like, that's it?
That's it, yeah.
Oh, and they didn't get Samhain right. He wrote Sam Hain on the
pronunciation of Sam Hain.
Yeah, and they're calling it Sam Hain. And it was in a schoolroom. It's like, so why did he go into the schoolroom and write this?
It's just...
It made no sense.
It was unnecessary.
Although, with that being said, overall, I did enjoy Halloween 2. Did I think it was great? No, it wasn't anywhere near comparison.
I'm just trying to figure out how the hell there was like 9 gallons of blood in that woman's body when he put the IV in, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the guy is all for theatricality, I guess, because he puts on the sheets.
Yeah.
He puts on the sheets in the first movie with the glasses on. He's a character. Like he likes to just kind of like fuck with people, sort of.
Well, when you're wearing a Bill Shatner mask from Star Trek, come on. Definitely gonna have the theatrics.
Yeah. You said Shat.
Yeah, I did.
There's actually 2 different versions of Halloween 2. There's the theatrical version, and then there's a version I saw on AMC where they definitely change a lot of the structure. Where the love interest for Jamie Lee Curtis, he slips and falls in the blood at the very end because of the explosion, of the gas explosion that Sam Loomis causes to blow himself up and Michael Myers. That explosion causes him to slip on the blood, and he actually survives at the very end. Where he's in the ambulance truck with Jamie Lee Curtis, they're holding each other's hands, and they're like screaming and crying, saying, "We made it, we made it." And I thought about that, thinking, oh, that's who she ends up with in Halloween 4, because they become the parents of Jamie Lloyd. I guess that's what they were trying. Maybe they had no idea, but maybe they saw that version.
Yeah.
They saw that version. They thought, let's roll with it in Halloween 4. That's what I'm thinking. I saw this version AMC years ago. The script is there's some moments that are changed. The script scenes are added in. And there was also some unnecessary music cues that kind of ruined the tension, especially with the security guard getting the hammer through the head. That was kind of ruined in the new version of AMC. I like the build-up of that one where he's just looking around, it's quiet, then all of a sudden, the hammer goes through his head.
Well, I think what happened was when they were playing the original Halloween on TV, because nobody had VHS tape players in their houses like all over the place like they do now, or Blu-ray players and satellites and all that stuff. So if you didn't catch a movie in the theater, you caught it on TV. And I think they added more scenes for the first movie for TV stuff, and they used some of those scenes in the second movie, like Loomis more in the hospital with flashbacks and seeing Michael and seeing the Jamie Lee Curtis character. What the fuck's her name? Laurie Strode.
Laurie Strode. How dare you?
I forgot that.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, Laurie Strode. And she goes in and sees Michael, and Michael just turns and doesn't say anything, but he just looks at her.
There's these out-of-place flashbacks that are put in Halloween 2. I do like the mask, though, in the second one. I think it looks really disheveled, and the hair is greasy. It looked like I think it was the same mask from the first movie.
I read it was the same mask, and apparently Dick Warlock still has it.
Good for him. I thought he was a good Michael Myers. I thought he did a good job at just being Nick Castle again. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, the name Dick Warlock is just...
It's the best name ever.
I think I laughed last time in Halloween 3.
Well, it's like our friend Lord Damien said, like, how comes there's not a horror villain just named Dick Warlock? I remember you and I, when we first saw Halloween 2, we were like, wait, that's the guy's name?
Yeah. I had to look that up, and I'm like... Who is calling themselves Dick Warlock?
I know. The guy in the boombox walking down the street, that was his son. He bumped into his own dad.
Warlock Jr.
Dick Warlock Jr. That's not his name, but that's kind of funny to imagine.
Gosh.
I am son of Dick Warlock. There's definitely a higher body count, though, in the second one. That's for sure, because it always seemed like these slashers had to have a rule where the sequels had to have a higher body count. It just had to happen. I don't really understand that.
I don't know. I think part of it's just the what more can we do, and the gore and the body count was some of the fun, and seeing the deaths and how they were going to do it, because there was no CGI at that point in time. It was straight up practical effects, and when you watched those people die, it was like you thought they were dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, well, how are they going to make them look mutilated? How are they going to do this?
They figured, let's sacrifice story for body count.
I mean, that's another reason why I still watch a lot of these old slasher movies, because I think it's so much fun to see the makeup and practical effects, and if they still hold up or if they don't. Some do really well, some don't. I think in quite a few of the John Carpenter movies, he did really well. I mean, probably his most greatest achievement with practical effects is The Thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane with like how well that looks.
The robotics and everything with the creatures mutating. Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous stuff.
Even in the Friday the 13th movies. I mean, hell, I still think what they did in the first Nightmare on Elm Street is absolutely fantastic. I mean, does it show it's low budget? Yeah, but I mean, we'll definitely have its own episode for that, because
I think it deserves its own episode.
It's a well-deserved.
But if you think about it, they also were trying to top themselves. So, like, let's say they had, I'm just going to say a number. Let's say they had 5 to 7 kills in the first movie. They're like, well, we have to almost double that in a sequel to make it better. But is it really making it better? Like, yeah, the practical effects are amazing, but it feels like he has to walk down a hallway. Oh, shit, I got to stab this person. Oh, 2 feet later, I got to stab this person just to make sure I can keep up with.
Well, at the end of the day, the story's going to be what's going to sell you on everything and what's going to keep the movie in a classic form. But, I mean, the deaths are really just like the fun. It's eye candy. Or it's like what
I thought the tits were the eye candy.
Well, that could be.
It's a slasher movie.
All right. Cody Leach says it best. Another YouTuber, loves horror films. Gore and blood, carnage candy. That's his term. And I agree. It's awesome. Carnage candy.
I remember Carnage Candy from Scream 2.
Uh-oh.
I think he got it from them.
I don't know.
I think he got it from Randy.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a while since I've seen Scream 2.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident he got it from Randy from Scream 2.
Well, maybe. I heard him say he coined it in one of his episodes, so I don't know.
Well, if he came before Scream 2, I don't know. Should we want to skip Halloween 3 because we kind of already talked about that one and just go right to 4?
We don't have to go in depth with it. Halloween 3 was just, we have our own episode with it, and basically all it was a departure from the series because they wanted to turn it into American Horror Story or an anthology series that involved the Halloween name.
Yeah, I respect that. I really do.
I thought it was a genius idea. They just marketed it bad.
They really did.
And like we said before, there was absolutely no reason why they couldn't bring Michael Myers back years later, which they wound up doing. So they probably could have had another Halloween 4, 5, and 6, and then when 1988 came around, they could have had, hey, we're bringing Michael Myers back, you know, for this, like, Halloween 7 at the time.
They made it pretty clear with Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers being the official title for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted the audience to know that the shape was returning.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even that aspect, like 3, if you didn't have the Halloween title, I think we talked about that in the episode, like, it still is a good movie. Like, it's cheesy as all hell, it's fun to watch, but, like, I'm probably, like, one of the few people that will watch it every year just because of how ridiculous it really is.
And Tom Atkins.
Oh, yeah, Tom Atkins.
Yeah. Well, Stacey Nealkin looking good.
Stacey Nealkin.
Tom Atkins railed her 3 times in that movie.
And his wife is next door. Getting a laser through the face and her face is just peeling back.
I was going to say, someone was getting blasted in the face.
And then we had the original Die Hard scene in the vent in Halloween 3.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And the first James Bond villain of horror films.
Yeah.
Maybe Halloween 3 really is
Ahead
so
of its
fucking
time.
awesome.
It's entertaining as all. Oh, I still want one of those masks. I really do. One of those Don Post Studio masks. I'm sure you can get them on Amazon or wherever.
Actually, I think the company's called Trick or Treat Studios or something like that.
Now it's Trick or Treat Studios. Okay.
Yeah, they actually sell them.
Okay. Way cool. So yeah, Halloween 4. This to me is definitely one of the sequels that's a cut above all the rest. Just because it could be a lot of things. It could be because it's great to see Donald Pleasance again as Sam Loomis, the introduction to Danielle Harris and her acting debut. Cool fact, she actually beat out Melissa Joan Hart for the role, who would go on to be Clarissa Explains It All in Nickelodeon.
You mean the chick that plays Sabrina? Really?
Yeah.
I don't see her as little Jamie. No,
Clarissa Explains It. Yeah, Melissa Joan Hart. She was one of the candidates that was being considered for Jamie Lloyd, and I think it was Danielle Harris who said because she really knew how to scream very well.
Oh my god.
And she does it quite well. And she's a talented actress at that young age. She does a fantastic job in that movie.
They said the crew guys had said they thought she was a midget because of how, good she was as a kid. Mm-hmm. And even I was impressed. I was like, damn, was she like 9 or something at the time?
I think so.
I gotta say, like the 7 to 9 range.
Mm-hmm. Something like that. I love how that movie also opens up with, we were talking about just the atmosphere of Halloween and like creepy farms and just having like all the Halloween decoration inside like an abandoned farm or whatever.
I love that too.
It's a really cool intro. Really just gets you immersed into what you're about to see.
I first saw Halloween 4 on AMC.
Okay.
They played Halloween 4 and 5 back to back because they had, what was it, Monster Fest?
Yes.
Monster
now it's called
Friday
Fear Fest.
Or something. Yeah. I live on a farm, and in my old house, I live around a farm. Like, my backyard was a farm field, and I lived near the mountains, and it was like, man, you couldn't get more fall festive than where I was, and everybody around town would just decorate with corn stalks and the pumpkin. Everybody got into the spirit. It was awesome. So every time when I see that intro, it does remind me of that old farm and like the mist coming in the morning kind of feel. I was like, oh yeah, this screams the Halloween atmosphere.
Yeah.
It was like it was probably more atmospheric than 1 and 2.
Yeah.
You only just saw the trick-or-treaters and the decorations, but it almost like made you feel that cold fall breeze that could hit you in the face when you went outside. And I was like, yeah, man, I really felt the atmosphere in that movie.
I can see that, definitely. And also, there's only maybe like 1 or 2 performances that don't really work for me, but everyone pretty much does their job. But this was also the beginning of some major logical and continuity flaws. I'm going to pull a Jeff Manford in this one, and it's pretty much the appearance of Dr. Sam Loomis. He looks pretty clean, got a few burn marks on his face and his arm. So you're telling me this guy that caused a gasoline explosion or an oxygen explosion in Halloween 2, blowing himself up and Michael Myers, and he's not charred to a crisp?
Sam Loomis.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
We named our studio after him.
That guy should be like a charred body or on life support in a coma right now.
I'm going to say it was...
Skin grafts.
I'm going to say that, or when he's wearing the trench coat and Michael's body hitting him. Protected him from the blast after shooting Michael in the eyes.
Oh my god.
You're bitching about Loomis being able to, walk after the explosion, getting shot in the fucking eyes, and Michael's still walking around like he's seeing every day.
He should be a black hole, his face, Michael Myers, but still being able to be powered by evil and walk towards you. But his face should be a black hole. Charred skin or bone exposed. That would have been pretty cool, actually. And there's the mask covering.
6 times.
I lit him on fire. I shot him in the eye. No, that was Jamie Lee Curtis that shot him in the eyes.
What?
Yeah, that was Laurie Strode that shot him in the eyes with the revolver. Yeah. That was him. Her, sorry. But, sorry, that just stuck out to me a little bit. Also, in a weird flashback scene, Michael Myers as a kid is blonde. I'm pretty sure he had brown hair in the first movie, yet it's a blonde kid with a bowl cut. They didn't care. They really didn't care about trying to get the kids somewhat to... At least they could have gotten the hair color right.
They could have just got the footage and then be like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure another shot that Michael Myers actually showed up, his hair looked yellow.
Yeah.
In the school scene where he bumped into Donald Pleasance, he bumped into him and it looked like his hair was blonde.
It was.
And he threw him in the window.
Get the fuck out of my way. I'm blonde now.
He dyed his hair.
on the platinum version.
So that would have. So you're telling me that they literally did not pay attention to continuity at all. They're just like, whatever. Just here's a mask. Shut the fuck up. Get out there.
Yeah, and let's have another high body count movie. But at least the movie itself actually moves pretty well in terms of its pacing. The only time it dragged a little bit were some of those like love conflict issues between Ellie Cornell's character, which is Rachel, and Brady. Every time those two were in the movie for Halloween 4, like their weird relationship that didn't really take off, and then he went up banging some other chick.
Dude, she had big tits though.
Oh wait, the cop's daughter.
The cop's daughter, yeah, she did.
Dude, that was the one kill that pissed me off the entire fucking movie.
The shotgun through the chest.
Yeah,
and damn, he's strong.
You didn't see any blood. It just like right through the wall, and then all she's wearing is that long shirt, and it's like, dude, take your shirt off.
She did take her shirt off.
We didn't see it, John.
I know we didn't see it, Colin.
Fuck.
I know. I understand your pain.
That was hurtful.
You were let down.
I was.
Yeah.
I was severely let down. I even tried Googling pictures of that chick, and...
So what you're saying is the stigma of the slasher film, they left out the nudity, and it kind of took a toll on you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It scarred you for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Yeah. I can believe it.
You could definitely tell the town was also played more of a role in this movie, like the town, yeah. The locals that get a little drunk maybe, and then they drive in pickup trucks with guns and they blast people through bushes. Like the town definitely got involved with saying, okay, we don't want a repeat of what happened 10 years ago, so let's really lock down this town.
Hey, they shot the wrong dude.
I know they did.
They shot the wrong guy.
Oh, fuck, there he is.
You don't even see him. You just see the bush shaking.
Yeah,
what was he doing in the bushes? I'm really curious. Was he just getting off behind the bushes?
He was eating his candy. Come on. It's fucking Halloween. What do you expect him to be doing? Jerking off in the bushes?
Let's not put it past him.
Hey, maybe there was like a slutty nun that walked by. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, you did. There's some good stunt work, too. Those guys getting killed off in the pickup truck, them, like, hitting the pavement really hard as Michael Myers just going through them left and right.
The rooftop scene.
Yeah, and then he, like, rips the guy's head off completely, like, just getting his hands, like, underneath his chin, ripping it. That was really cool. It was more good practicality.
I like the characters in it. I like little Jamie and how they said Laurie Strode died in a car accident, and that's why she wasn't involved, which I'm pretty sure Jamie Lee Curtis just didn't want to do it or wanted more money.
Well, I think it's more or less she was tired of being labeled as a Scream Queen. I think The Fog was like one of the last movies that she did as a Scream Queen. So she was trying to do her departure. So like, all right, I guess we can't really use her anymore. So we got little Jamie now.
When did Prom Night come out? She did that too.
I think it was in 80.
Okay.
Because it was like pretty much she did Halloween, that, something else in The Fog. And it was all back to back.
Terror Train.
Yeah.
That was another one. Yeah.
And so like she essentially was original Scream Queen of the 80s. And yeah, that was her departure. She was like, I'm done. Fog was it with Tom Atkins. I'm still wondering, did he pop out a beer when that shit was happening?
Where's he getting all these beers from? Where's he getting these?
I feel like he's having them in his pockets the whole time. They're like, yo, we're shooting, whatever.
So when we go see Tom Atkins, we should just all have beers and just
yeah,
be
just like pop one out and just hand it to him like, this is for you.
Do you want a cigarette?
Thrill me.
Oh, man.
Give him a lab coat just to be like, yo, remember you said you were a doctor and this is all the things that you really did that was really a doctor in Halloween 3 was wear a coat? Put this on.
One of those movie jobs.
Yeah. He did prescribe Florazine or whatever it was called.
Thorazine.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's okay.
Dude, it's the 80s. I don't know if they actually...
Prescribe. Yeah, DUIs were different.
Yeah. I will say, though, the sheriff in Halloween 4, I want that fucking shotgun that he had.
Yeah.
Bringing out the cannon, just mowing down Michael Myers at the very end with the troopers. And he just gets buried in a mine shaft.
You know, that was the one thing that I really didn't like about it, because I just thought, that's it.
How he died?
Yeah. Well, died.
Yeah,
Died.
air quotes, died.
Yeah, they just shotgun the shit out of him right before he's getting ready to get little Jamie, and then he just falls into a mine shaft, like you said, and they just kind of leave him.
They do.
I thought it was a well.
It could have been.
Maybe it was a well.
It was a shaft in the ground, all right?
Yeah.
It was a giant hole in the ground.
Out of nowhere, and then just these pieces of wood just fall behind him, and it's like, where did this come from?
The dirt caves in,
yeah.
Going from 4 to 5, did no one ever go, hey, we should probably check to make sure he's actually dead? I don't know, throw some dynamite, something down there.
They did in
the beginning of 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But in 4, they don't... See, they didn't do that.
No.
It was just like, here, tell this story, finish it up, and then let's get it out.
Mm-hmm.
He's dead.
Yeah.
And then they make it look like because Jamie was wearing a clown outfit for Halloween that then she becomes the next Michael Myers.
Did she stab her sister or
Her
stepmom?
Stepmom.
Okay.
Stepmom. That's a very debatable ending. Now, some people love the ending because of how just it's disturbing, and I love Sam Loomis's flip out moment where he's about to shoot her, and then the cop stops her, and he's breaking down crying, saying, "Oh God, no! Why is it passing to you?" Because there's that moment where he does touch her. People think, well, did he just transfer evil to her by doing this? But I don't know. But
it was weird to me because I like the concept of her being the next Michael Myers and with the scissors and stabbing the mom. Mm-hmm. You know, and I like the final image of her with the blood on her.
It's creepy.
Yeah,
I really did get creeped out by that.
And it was effective, but I didn't understand why she was so scared of him throughout the whole movie, and then when she thought he was dead, she goes and touches his hand, like you said, and then they're telling her, "Oh, get away from him!" And then that's when he comes back and they shotgun the shit out of him, and I'm like, yeah, why would you go over to him like that? If you're scared of him and you want him dead and all this other stuff, you go over to him?
Well, she thought the threat was done and wanted to make sure she was the smart one out of the group, being a 9-year-old, going, hey, I'm going to check his pulse.
He is my uncle, too. Like, I know he's a murdering psychopath, but he's my uncle.
Oh, yeah, he's going to give you a hug.
If you think about it, could you imagine if they actually went with that storyline and we didn't get the 5 we have and the 6 we have, where Jamie ends up becoming the next Michael Myers? Like, I would love to see Daniel Harris reprise that role and be a female Michael Myers.
I would have liked that as well.
I think it'd just be a fun. They could even do a one-off, like, hey, a what if Halloween. Hey, by the way,
they could do it now. I mean, that's kind of the joke. I think Scream 5 is gonna be like that.
Oh, a what if?
Yeah, like the rebooted sequel. Because that's kind of the thing now.
This is the world we live in right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Scream does, though. They parody this kind of shit.
Oh my God.
And they do it well for the most part.
But 4 was a reboot making fun of the originals with never mind. Well, that'd be another show.
We're really thinking really deep into this, but I'm going to say this right off the bat. Halloween 5 fucking sucked.
Wait. That's the one with her and she was like mute all of a sudden for no reason at all?
Halloween 5 sucked. The revenge of Michael Myers, that was honestly the beginning of them just not even giving a shit about the franchise.
There was so much wrong with that.
Body count and titties. That's pretty much what it became from that.
Daniel Harris's performance, when she starts talking.
I'd say even without her talking, she did a really good performance trying to explain stuff. Like,
that's true.
You can see the body language, you see the emotion in her face, and it's just like she's trying to, I don't even know the word, like try to get it across that there's something happening. Like she's talking about the dog and everything. Like I think she did a better performance in that one, not actually talking, but showing emotion and everything, than she did in 4, where she actually could talk. So it's actually showing a little bit more range. Okay. And then she's what, 10, 11?
Yeah.
Probably 10 at that point.
I agree with you. I think her performance in that was really good. I even thought the ending when they go to the house was really good. If there's like any highlight of Halloween 5 that I really enjoyed, it was when they're in the house.
She's good. She's still very good.
Well, I mean, even just the scene in general when they go back to the Myers house and they try to set up the trap and then he just kills all the cops. And
I want to get back to that house. That is not Michael Myers' house.
Oh, no.
Look at that fucking thing. It looks like a mansion compared to what it was before. The color is off. It's got turrets. Fuck that movie. I mean, if you thought the continuity and the issues in Halloween 4 were bad, just watch 5 and you'll be ripping your hair out of your skull.
The mask was better in 5. The mask in 4 sucked.
It did suck. The fucking cops might as well be Abbott and Costello. They had stupid sound effects being played every time they said something dumb. These guys do not deserve to wear a police uniform. They do not deserve to be anywhere near a squad car or involved in any kind of investigation.
They killed Rachel right off the bat at the beginning of the movie, who was a really cool character.
I know. It doesn't matter that you survived the events of 4. You're just going to get killed off in the first 15 minutes.
And then they let that annoying Tina girl be the... Oh, man, it was bad.
The direction was bad. And then it was like the introduction of this weird subplot of the man in black with the steel-toed boots.
And the cowboy hat.
God.
Who was played by the same stunt guy who was Michael Myers.
Really? He played both parts?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why he was fucking huge in it. And then you find out in 6 is some old guy.
It's a well-known actor, too.
Yeah. but oh my God.
I guarantee you he did not play him in 5. That was some
so
stunt
bad.
guy.
I just said it was the stunt guy.
Yeah. And then there was like the introduction of that tattoo, the thorn tattoo. You actually see it in 5. And then he was living with a hermit for a year. And then when Jamie Lee Curtis...
Oh, yeah, when he got his face blasted off with a shotgun, he's got to survive somehow.
Yeah, that he
got to live in the woods.
Jimmy Lloyd comes to life, and then that triggers Michael Myers to come to life and start beating the shit out of people and killing them.
It was weird.
It was a bad, poorly directed movie. The way and they didn't even really kill him off in 5. They didn't even, it was just Dr. Loomis shooting him with a tranquilizer gun, throwing a net on him, and just beating him with a piece of wood.
It was a chain net.
A chain net.
It's okay, go to sleep.
just let the tranquilizers do their work as I beat the shit out of you with wood. Oh,
there was an interesting scene where Jamie hides in a little casket, I think.
Yeah.
Or something, and then she actually gets him to listen to her, and
I don't like that he cried. I don't like that.
Either.
That was dumb.
That was dumb. I agree. I don't like that part, but I like the concept that she was able to have him take the mask off and at least have him listen. Like, it stopped him in his tracks. I'm thinking, okay, maybe the substance of a child, that was something to me that I was like, okay, I can see this happening.
The last thing I want is to sympathize with him, and I don't need to see
I
the
didn't
guy
say
crying.
anything about that.
Oh,
but
I know.
I just thought that was impressive that she was able to stop him in his tracks like that. But
no,
I agree.
Her acting is not the problem in that movie.
The crying was stupid. And then he just freaks the fuck out again, and everything was just disregarded.
Oh, yeah, because the evil took over.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially what it goes back to movie 1, where oh, he's evil. But yeah, I totally forgot about that. I literally blocked a good portion of this movie out. All I remember is Daniel Harris' performance, and you guys are talking about. I'm like, he fucking cried.
Yeah, he cried.
Who the fuck?
They gave it a 3-second shot of him just having a teardrop coming down his face with a mask off.
This is some bullshit.
It is bullshit. Oh, and they couldn't probably figure out, oh wait, the guy in the black, we have to end this movie somehow. Let's have him destroy the police headquarters and break Michael Myers out. And then it actually is a pretty chilling scene with Danielle Harris walking down the corridors, and she sees all the dead cops, and then she sees the jail cell blown apart, and then she starts crying, saying, oh God, he's free. He's out there again. And that just ends. That was, if I had to give that movie one positive thing, it was probably just that little sequence at the very end, even though I didn't care for the stupid Man in Black subplot at all. That was well filmed and well choreographed.
Erwin Yablans even said that they didn't know who the Man in Black was.
Nobody knew.
How the fuck do you produce a movie and say, okay, let's do it, and then not know who this one major character is that you have in there? That's stupid. That's irresponsible. That's just lame-ass filmmaking.
They half-assed it.
Oh, the reason why was just to crank out another movie to get more money for it. I think I even watched a documentary where they said they worked on it just way too fast and didn't give it proper time or the treatment for it.
Yeah. And as much as this pains me to say, even though I really don't like Halloween 5, Halloween 6 might be even worse.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, which version?
Yeah, which version? Do you want the theatrical cut or the producer's cut?
Yes.
I saw both versions, and I actually didn't even care for the producer's cut. They tried to alter and change the things that they messed up in the theatrical cut.
Well, hold on.
I didn't think it was any better.
The one thing that sticks out to me is the voiceover, and the mouth doesn't even move. That's the one. Colin was like, "Hey, you guys got this producer's cut. You're gonna see a scene, and it's gonna drive you nuts."
Yeah.
And he didn't tell me anything leading up to it, and then when I saw it, I was just like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah.
I told you.
Oh my God.
This came out 6 years, I think, after number 5, something like that. But if you really want to trudge through that movie. Just, I guess if you want to watch it, just watch it for Donald Pleasance and his final performance.
The sad thing was Halloween 6 is actually shot really well. I mean, you get like that fall aesthetic and that Halloween feel. I mean, that screamed Halloween suburbs in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it had that fall look. It had the costumes that kids had. You know, I remember being so excited as a kid seeing costumes like what they wore in the mall when you could go to like the Halloween stores at that time of year. I mean, they really captured that Halloween time so well in that film.
Now, I'm going to say, while there are some good shots, I think it is the worst edited movie of all of them. The editing is atrocious, especially with the finale on how it feels so choppy. Like, scenes are lasting maybe 1 second. It's going back and forth between Paul Rudd beating the shit out of him with a steel pipe, and then the breakout with Donald Pleasance trying to get the hell out of there, and he's beating him up. He's being shot with more tranq guns. It is, and then this weird scene where he smacks him over the head with a pipe, and he's like oozing green slime from his head, and then it just rapid cut. He's dying, and then all of a sudden he just drops the pipe, and that's the end.
Well, you also forgot a major key plot here.
A major key plot.
Yeah. Supposedly, they had Michael Myers have sex with Jamie, and they have like some incestuous baby.
Oh God.
You forgot another key plot. It's not Danielle Harris.
Yeah.
The story behind that one is her manager's like, hey, you're only going to be in the movie for 5 minutes. So just ask for X amount of money, and if they give it to you, do it. If not, don't worry about it. She has, I think it was like $1,500. They didn't want to pay it. She's like, cool, I'm out. So they get a whole new woman to play Jamie. You don't even realize because she looks nothing like Danielle Harris.
Smart career decision for Danielle Harris. Don't do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Paul Rudd was playing the Tommy Doyle character that Laurie Strode was watching in the first movie.
I did not realize that was him until 6 years ago.
And he was all weird, like he was like a Michael Myers hunter, but he was like all like, I'm fine. It's like, what the hell?
Hunched over a lot and just, like you said, trying to act weird. And then there's this whole thing about, he's actually inflicted with a druid curse called Thorn, and they're doing this like big exposition dump scene on the computer. It's because of the star alignments in the atmosphere. If you see the curse of Thorn, if you see the Thorn symbol in the constellations, he's going to appear. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Give me a break. Just stop already.
It was horrible.
I can see the anguish in your face when you're explaining how stupid this really is.
It really is a dumb movie. If you didn't think Halloween 5 could sink lower, 6 will put you to shame.
The one after it gets even worse.
No,
I'm thinking H2O's after, and then you got Resurrection. Resurrection is the one that...
H2O I'm going to talk about, though. I'm not skipping that one.
I'm trying to leapfrog here, because I'm forgetting, timeline in a movie that
I'm trying to think
has no timeline.
I'm trying to think of what other shitty things we can think of for 6. I did slightly enjoy the ending to the producer's cut better than the theatrical cut, because it wasn't, like you said, hitting him in the face with a pipe and then the green ooze. It actually had a little more steady look to it. But then the Thorn tattoo went on Dr. Loomis, and then you found out that the fucking other doctor hanging with Loomis was the cowboy dude from the 5th one. And I'm just like, and then there's the whole cult, and I was like, what in the flying fuck is going on in this movie?
I believe this is why we don't have a really good documentary about Halloween, is because no one knows what the fuck is actually going on.
It's very true. It really is. And the thing is, the guy who played the Man in Black, the Dr. Wynn, he's a well-known actor. I'm trying to look up his name quickly right now.
Liar.
He was?
He's a liar. He was in Lethal Weapon. He was, General McAllister. He's a talented actor. Mitchell Ryan, that's his name. I'm like, oh God, man. And if I had to give a positive for Halloween 5, I'll give one positive for Halloween 6, and is that I guess in some scenes you see the brutality of Michael Myers. You see, like, he doesn't walk. He actually speed runs after people. Like, he's not taking his time to go after somebody. He's going to fucking walk fast and kill the shit out of you, and he'll take down hordes of people I mean, that was kind of cool, I guess. I mean, like one death, he pushed a guy's head to break open a steel door, and his head rolls off. Oh, brother. And it's actually the same actor who played him in Halloween 4.
Yeah.
George P. Wilbur.
I like that mask in 6.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's not the best, but I do like it. And I thought that was one of the best shots of Michael Myers. Like I said, I talked about the aesthetics and the cinematography. Some of the ways they filmed him, like when he came out of that cellar and it's kind of raining coming down, and you just see him walking and he's got the knife. I like that little misty night shot that they were doing with it's just kind of like a silhouette, and it's just like a shark on a mission, kind of. And then that one scene where he's in the house and he's just walking up the stairs and the lightning's flashing. I thought there were some really good shots that they had of him looking scary.
Okay.
That's like some of the only positives I have to say about it.
We're not saying much.
The sad thing is, like we said before, and I just want to say it again, is that when you watch the trailer actually looked like it was going to be a pretty solid and scary movie. And that could be because they had the original music, they had some of the cool shots, they showed some of the aesthetics, and it's like, this looks pretty solid. And then when you see it, you're like, oh, jeez, I've taken shits that look better than this.
I think we can all agree on that. And then it's not until 1998 where we get, quite possibly, one of the dumbest titles, Halloween H2O. I'm sorry, I hate the title Halloween H2O. The first time I heard it, I'm thinking, is this a Halloween movie underwater? What the fuck is this? A lot of people out there really do like Halloween H2O. Some people really like this movie. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I think it's not the worst, but it is nowhere near as good as maybe like those first four movies. I really think that this is a terrible 90s film. It was the beginning of, hey, let's put in hip-hop artists to be in our scary movies to try and appeal to a younger crowd. Look, no disrespect to LL Cool J. I actually think he's not the worst part of this movie. He does okay with the character that he's given. He's fine. We'll talk about Busta Rhymes next, but they gave the reins to Steve Miner, a guy who directed, his only credit was Friday the 13th Part 2 and House.
He directed Friday the 13th Part 3.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That sucked. I hate that one. That's not a major accomplishment.
What's wrong with House, man? That's a fun movie to watch. There's like nothing really great about it. It's not a bad movie.
Oh man, but he tries. The only thing I can think of why the critics favored this movie to a degree is because it captured the feel, or at least tried to capture the feel of the first one, because it had no gore. It had very little gore, but this is a jump scare fest. It is an annoying jump scare fest. The entire story is dumb. Michael Myers looks like he's being played by a 20-year-old college student. There's a CGI mask that was put in one scene. They couldn't just take They couldn't just take the mask and say, just put the fucking mask on him and film the shot. No.
There was like 4 different masks in that movie.
Let's digitally put a mask on him for this one little fucking one-off second shot.
I think the major thing you're missing is the return of Jamie Lee Curtis. That's probably why that movie got as much praise as it did, because, shit, man, 20 years later, she actually comes back to play Laurie Strode, or whatever the fuck her name is in that movie.
Karen Tate.
Yeah. Oh. But I think that's why everyone likes it, because you went from Jamie all the way up, and then all of a sudden you had like a decent time gap, and then you got 20, and it was her return. Yeah. But like, yeah, it's a typical 90s slasher flick.
Yeah, the cinematography in that is definitely the look of something that you'd see on like a. It wasn't the CW at the time. It was actually the WB network.
Yeah.
If you guys remember that.
Yeah.
It had like that Dawson's Creek and Charmed.
Well, they had the one actress from Dawson's Creek in it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Michelle Williams.
Michelle Williams. Yeah. As gorgeous as she is, I mean.
But I remember Jamie Lee Curtis was actually pumped about doing this movie, and I actually think it had one of the coolest introductions to the movie. Like the nurse from the first and second movie came back. And
that's nice they brought her back.
They killed her off, and then when they
they killed her off.
Yeah, they do. But then when the detectives are talking about the history of Michael Myers and how they're saying it can't possibly be him, not after 20 years ago. and they're seeing Dr. Loomis's room and how it's just got all this Michael Myers shit. Like, he was obsessed with him until the day he died. And it just, like, slowly builds up into the theme song. I enjoyed that.
Okay.
I think it's too short. It definitely doesn't have the... I mean, I think it had a closer feel to the original, but like I said, it still felt like one of those old WB show sort of things.
I didn't think it was scary. I didn't think it should have taken place in California. I really didn't. I thought that was a dumb idea. It
didn't explain anything as far as him being burned after the second one and how he came back. I appreciated it then. I mean, I kind of knock it down a peg more now because I enjoy 2018 more. But
wait, I just caught this. So wait, they tried to jump the timeline again there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
I thought it was still part of the timeline.
No, it's not.
No, it's Halloween 1, 2, and then H2O.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they disregard 3, 4, 5, and 6 completely in Halloween H2O.
Josh Hartnett plays her son, and he says, "Mom, you watched him burn."
But here's the thing, like, at that time, she still would have watched him burn. Even after 2, well, so that timeline would have happened. Even though, like, 4, 5, and 6 happened, she died off. Yeah, she had a whole new family. Fuck that kid that just happened to be...
It was a one-off line. They said, like, what happened to the sister? She died. No, she faked her death. That was the whole thing. She faked her fucking death and just became a high school mistress in California. I mean, they try to explore the idea that she's a recovering alcoholic and that it's made her depressed quite a bit. It's told better in Halloween 2018. I mean, they kind of show a few scenes with her just like pouring the booze and she wants one glass of Chardonnay after another in H2O. But I still don't care for this movie just because it's a jump scare fest. I cannot get past how many dumb jump scares are in this movie. And there was no reason for her mom to be in this movie.
Are you kidding me?
Jamie Lee Curtis's mom is in the movie.
Yeah, dude, it's Janet Leigh.
I know it's Janet Leigh.
Why the fuck wouldn't you want to put her in a Halloween movie?
I would have given her a bigger role.
It's a fucking cameo, bro.
You're mad over a cameo?
Kind of, yeah. Does she need to be in the movie? I mean, she's great. She's great.
Janet Leigh.
Give her a bigger role then. Give her a bigger role.
She wasn't a bigger role in the fucking fog.
I was say, if you think about it, everyone who doesn't know who Janet Leigh is, she was the woman who died in the shower in the original Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock movie, not the shitty one that came out with Vince Vaughn. But now I caught everybody up. Back to this argument that's happening over whether or not Janet Leigh should have a bigger part.
Yeah, give her a bigger role.
Hey, all right then. Why the fuck don't they just get Nick Castle to play Michael Myers in the whole fucking rest of the series then? While he's in his 70s. You think he's gonna fucking do that and his own stunts?
Yes.
Fuck off. It's a bullshit argument. It's a cameo. She should have been in it. I'm glad she was. I can appreciate it for that.
Fine. Okay. Okay. Agree to disagree. No, I still don't like the movie.
I don't care if you don't like the movie. But to say, oh, she shouldn't have been in this movie. No, fuck you. She's a horror icon. And she's with her daughter. Again. That's awesome.
Are you done?
Are you done?
No.
I can go all day.
No. We've still got a couple more movies to talk about. I know we've mentioned that there are 9 films, soon to be 11. This is do we want to talk about Rob Zombie's movies?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
then,
I'm sorry.
Then it's
a tennis match right now.
Then it'll be 13 movies that we're going to be discussing, not 11, or not 11 movies we're discussing, not 9.
Why wouldn't we discuss them? They're Halloween movies.
Well, I said 9 in the very beginning, and then there was going to be 11, but I totally just went over Rob Zombie's movies. I didn't even include them.
Because we can.
Because we can. Even though this is the start of a new timeline.
Oh, fuck me.
Whatever.
Just, look,
it's Halloween.
Okay, you know, people like Halloween H2O, that's fine. If you enjoy it, like, more power to you. I just don't. Because I can't get over the jump scares. I can't get over with how unscary it is. And the fact that you see his eyes. You see Michael Myers' eyes constantly in H2O. It annoyed the shit out of me. It takes away the fear completely that he's not some entity. It looks like a human being. He looks like a human being with a mask on.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I thought that was stupid. It doesn't add on to making him more scary or nothing. Like you said, it adds more humanity to him. I didn't like that either. Yeah. I mean, I really don't feel like it's a perfect movie. I enjoyed it more, like I said, at that time. And I can still watch it and find entertainment with it. Like, I find the entertainment with it is really what it comes down to. I enjoyed that like Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie, she finds the strength to go back and actually face him and be brave. And that was a pretty badass scene where she breaks the fire, where she gets the fire axe. It's like,
she gets the axe, and then she disables the gate so that no one can get out. And there was that one creepy shot where he's just lowering himself from a pipe from the ceiling.
That looked cool.
That looked cool. That looked cool. And then she swings the axe right into him, and she gets the same cut from the first movie in almost the exact same spot.
Yeah.
I was kind of neat and everything. She does knee him in the balls though at one point.
That was stupid because even dumb. He, like, you see his eyes, like you said, which and he's like, ugh.
That hurt. Fuck you.
Yeah, I was like, no.
I thought that was bad, and you know,
I did enjoy the ending, like the very end when she puts him in the coroner's van and drives off, and then they crash and. He gets caught in between the tree and the coroner's office, and the coroner's van and the tree.
Yeah.
And then she grabs the axe again and sees him, and it's like you can't trust him, but it's almost like he's baiting her. It's like the first time you actually saw him try to bait somebody like that, and he's reaching his hand out like, "Oh, feel sorry for me." If they would have showed the eyes there at that point, then I would have been like, "Whoa, you see his eyes?" Because then that's kind of like that blackness that, you know, that Dr. Loomis was always talking about.
Yeah.
Was gone, and that there's some humanity in him at that point. It's like maybe it did change, and it would make sense why she's crying. But then she just takes the axe and fucking chops his head off. Dude, my grandparents, we had like a free movie channel at that point. I couldn't believe they were watching it, to tell you the truth. It was weird. But I just remember, like, my grandmother was leaning over and just kind of, like, really into the movie. My grandfather was just sitting back smoking his cigarettes. And then the hand thing's going on, and you see Jamie Lee Curtis crying, and Michael Myers looking over. And then you just get the clunk. And both my grandparents, you go, "Oh!" And my grandfather, "Jesus Christ!" Dude, that alone right there is forever ingrained in me.
You should see your face as you did it.
Dude, but that's how they were.
That's so funny. Oh, man.
It was like the best reaction. My 80-year-old grandparents, you know, watching Halloween H2. Well, they were 70 at the time. But still, that's great.
That's funny.
Oh my god.
So that's a fond memory I have of H2.
All right, there you go. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt getting this skate through the face.
That was funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. The deaths, they weren't really scary.
No,
they were just kind of humorous.
Yeah,
like you said, they are funny.
They're entertaining.
I'll disagree to that, but then we got Halloween Resurrection in 2002, which I regret seeing twice in theaters. I was a kid. I was a kid. Yes, I saw this movie twice in theaters because, listen to me, I had never seen a Halloween movie in theaters in my entire life until 2002 when they announced, or when they were going to release, Halloween Resurrection. So imagine a young me who loved watching the first one and watched all the other movies up to that. Now I get to finally sit down and sit in the theater and watch Halloween Resurrection. A young grade schooler, me. Yes, twice. I keep seeing your damn fingers held up. Yes, I saw the damn movie twice. I didn't know any better. I don't know what it's like to be a film enthusiast.
Hey, hold on. What part of Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes were like, hey, I gotta see this shitty movie twice? I'm just saying, right off the bat.
I didn't see it for them. I wanted to see it for Michael Myers to kill a bunch of people. And yes, you could say I got that, but what my feeble little brain didn't grasp is how truly awful the movie was, because there was a facade, like, I don't care what else I'm watching, I'm just seeing bodies fly, I love it right now, I don't care what you're saying right now, shut up, I'm trying to watch the movie. And then, you know, quite recently, I saw an interview with Carpenter. He's saying, look, I haven't watched really many of the sequels, or even any of the sequels. I just kind of stayed away from the franchise after 3. But I remember seeing this one involving the video cameras, and I thought, oh my God, what the hell are they doing? He was just putting his face in his hands in this moment, saying, I remember watching Resurrection on TV once, and good God, they are destroying what I started. Yeah, they are. Because, like I said, LL Cool J, he was good in H2O, but they had to take it a step further and bring more MTV icons into another horror franchise. And they brought Busta Rhymes, who can do karate, and karate chops Michael Myers through a fucking window, and then he hangs himself. What the fuck are you doing, people?
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Give me a break. Oh, God. And Twice. And what's even shocking is that Rick Rosenthal returned to direct this movie. It's like he forgot everything that he did in Halloween 2. He just totally checked out, half-assed everything. He forgot everything that he did in the second movie and just said, all right, I'll replicate some things that worked in H2O again with the pipe, him coming down from the ceiling again, and then Jamie Lee Curtis not wanting any part of this franchise, saying, if you're going to put me in this movie, kill me off in the first 10 minutes, and they happily obliged. Why does he have flowing locks? Why does the mask have locks in his hair? He looks like he looks like the mask just got laundered. Looks like he just washed his clothes one day. He doesn't look disheveled or dirty or gritty in any way. What the fuck are you doing, people?
He got his uniform dry cleaned, and his mask happened to fall in. They had ironed it.
It's a kill date.
That's really scary too. I'm really terrified for my life just listening to the story. Michael Myers visits the laundromat. Why wasn't that a fucking movie?
I'd rather watch that than Resurrection. Like, just see him sitting there, like, using an iron on his fucking jumpsuit, you, like, pulling the mask off, wiping it off.
Yeah.
Shit, I would watch that just because that's how bad Resurrection really is.
I'm sorry, Busta Rhymes. You don't belong anywhere near acting in front of a camera. It's just not good. It's just not good at all. Ugh.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Halloween 6 over Resurrection.
It's a terrible movie.
5 and 6, as a matter of fact. I mean, I know, like, we were kind of critical. I mean, Jeff and I were kind of critical of Halloween 3, but at least Halloween 3 is entertaining and has some positives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Resurrection's just...
That was a kick in the dick.
Yeah.
The stupid digital age that they try to incorporate computers.
Reality TV.
Reality TV, yes. Ugh.
Wait, and that was supposed to be the original house that Michael was in, right?
Yeah.
They got that right. They got the house right. That's it.
And then they burned it at the end.
Yeah, I was like, did they, though?
They did better than 5. And then, like, they really didn't care about the ending either, too.
No, they didn't.
Him coming, the eyes opening, and then it just cuts to black. There must have been, like, 10 different endings, and this is the best one that they could come up with.
There were at least 3.
I was like, listen, all they were thinking about was the next sequel. They had to make sure somehow this asshole was still alive at the end of this bullshit. Be like, listen, we got to make a sequel somehow. Maybe. I don't know. But just leave it in there.
Like I said, as a kid, I had blinders on. I didn't care what the fuck they were saying.
We all did, dude.
I was just happy to be seeing a Michael Myers movie in the theater because I never thought that was ever going to happen to me. Because I was young. I'm thinking, after H2O, I don't think I'm ever going to... I didn't see that movie in theaters. I'm probably never going to see another Halloween movie in theaters. And I'm glad I'm proven wrong with 2018 and then the other 2 movies that are yet to come out.
Well, we saw the original Halloween in theater together.
We did. That was nice.
That was nice.
Glad that that theaters are doing that, bringing classics back.
Yeah.
Why not?
Fuck yeah.
They really just didn't give a shit. They were like Rick Rosenthal. You just like fucked off in that movie.
So, going from that point on, there were no more sequels. We ended up getting a reboot from Rob Zombie and his sequel, which honestly, like, he took the idea of Michael Myers and kind of put it in the real life, like making it a whole thing as a serial killer. And it made sense at the time. Like, it was cool, but the whole fucking thing that still pisses me off to this day is the whole white trash bullshit
Oh yeah.
that he had to put into it. Like, from 1978 up until, I can't even remember the date for Zombies. It's like, you always thought it was kind of like a more of a white collar, like, family. Like, they were a little more straight laced. That one, they're like straight up fucking
trash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
I mean, it was nice seeing Danielle Harris again, but I could not differentiate those three women. They all looked like they were the same character. All of them. Even Laurie Strode. They looked like they were just the same person, but there's three different women.
Well,
there was no differentiation of the characters.
That was the way a lot of girls, though, looked at that time and were in their teens.
They all tried to look the same.
But like, you think of mannerisms or behavior, or in terms of like intelligence level. I mean, like one's more studious and the others are more promiscuous, but that's not the case really in those three.
Yo, it's a different time frame.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it captured it pretty well. The only thing that I didn't get, like what Jeff said, the movie, like the very beginning of that movie takes place in 1978, or sometime in the 70s.
I thought it was modern times, but yeah, it would probably make sense.
Yeah, because he's wearing the Kiss shirt, and
that's right.
You know, and then he grows up, and it's like 20, 30 years, at least 20, because Laurie's still in high school, and she was a baby in the house.
So that'd be what, the 90s?
Yeah, but yet at the time, like they're driving like a '99 Equinox or something, and I'm like, what? Like, and there's really nothing's explained in it.
No.
And the first part is just garbage. I mean, the kid was horrible.
No, that kid was fucking creepy. That face haunts me to this day.
Well, that's not hard.
His acting still haunts me to this day.
I think the one part I took away from that whole beginning sequence was when he beat the shit out of that kid with a tree branch.
From Spy Kids.
Yeah, beat the shit out of him. I was like, holy crap, alright, cool, they're gonna move on. No, he continued.
I like Sherry Moon Zombie's performance as the mom.
It was the one time. Yeah, the one time she actually did an amazing acting job.
Yeah.
And she didn't like play baby, she didn't play any of this. She was actually a normal person. Like, she did an amazing job, and she shoots herself.
It's hard for me to get past the first 15 minutes of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
It is very hard for me to get past the first 15 minutes of that movie. Everybody is just screaming and shouting and filled with so much rape threats and paraphernalia. It's
It is. It's like, the best way to describe it is like Jeff said, it's white trash.
It is white trash.
I mean, and not that like makes the movie bad, but the thing that really makes it bad is like how they depicted Michael as a kid. Like it kind of humanized him to the point where when he becomes grown up, it's like, so where's the evil that Dr. Loomis talks about? See, the scary part is that we don't see that. Like, we never saw what he was like as a normal kid. Like, I think it'd be scarier if we found out, like, in the original movie, he was a regular happy-go-lucky kid, and all of a sudden he just turns. It's like, what the hell brought that on?
Yeah.
And
now we actually have a reason why he is the way he is. Like,
and it didn't work.
I mean, like, look at the child in The Exorcist. She was just a happy 12-year-old girl. Then all of a sudden, like, she's in the hospital bed. She sees this image of Satan or the devil, and then she just snaps. She just turns into a completely different person.
I didn't get the hospital scenes. I just didn't. And then he just stops talking.
Here's the thing with that. Like, there are 3 separate versions of this film. You can find 2 on Blu-ray wherever. There's a 3rd version.
There's a 3rd version.
I have it.
I've seen 2. I haven't seen the 3rd version.
And it actually, like, they need to put out an ultimate director's cut of all 3 versions together, minus the stupid ass rape scene in the hospital.
Oh, I hated that.
Because at that point, it takes him from being a monster to being a hero. And I'm like, wait a fucking second here, guys. And it doesn't expand the character. It just shows that, yeah, he's still human. They're doing shitty shit. Let's just kill them. Where the original scene where he escapes, it shows him as a brutal monster.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Tyler Mane alone is a scary fucking guy. Put him in the Michael jumpsuit. He's even a scarier guy. It makes it more plausible on the amount of shit that he can do. Like, the physicality of picking somebody up by their neck and, like, you can believe it. He's like, I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I'm not even going near him.
I think that was the best part, is when he was the adult Michael Myers.
Yeah.
I think when, like, the companionship that Danny Trejo tried having with him, and then he turns and kills him just to escape.
Yeah.
After all the good things that you can see that he's done to him over the years.
That was the saddest scene. He goes, "I was good to you, Michael," and he still kills him. I'm like, damn, you made me feel for him.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought that worked.
That was a surprise. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But Danny Trejo, I mean, I love the guy. He's always been around all these movies.
He's in everything.
He is in almost everything.
I did like Michael McDowell as Dr. Loomis. I didn't think he was anywhere near as great as Donald Pleasance was, but
I was genuinely excited about that casting choice. I'm like, that's good. Good, okay. I like this actor. Clockwork Orange, he's done a lot of high caliber performances and some great work. That's a good choice. I was really happy for him. And he did a fine job.
yeah.
He did a fine job. That's all I'll say. He did a fine job.
I think it became too much of a Rob Zombie movie. Although the second one became more of a Rob Zombie movie. We'll get to that.
I'd say your favorite part, though, probably has to be Joe
Danielle
Grizzly.
Joe Grizzly.
I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
I was gonna say when Danielle Harris took her shirt off.
Wait, was that?
Yeah, Joe Grizzly. That shit's funny as fuck.
Yo,
I'm Joe
whenever I saw
Grizzly,
this
bitch.
movie, this motherfucker has quoted that for years.
Who was that in the movie again?
The
truck stop guy.
Yeah.
That's Ken Ford from Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
He's a great horror actor. Oh,
And it
yeah.
was funny because, like, that is the one thing I enjoy about Rob Zombie. He gets old horror actors and brings them to light. Like Bill Moseley, you have wow, I'm drawing blanks right now. Sid Haig, Ken Foree. So you're getting a lot of bigger names. Brad Dourif is the sheriff in this
Yeah.
one. And obviously, like, the big name that really put me in this movie was Michael McDowell and Danielle Harris. 'Cause I'm like, oh shit, they're bringing her back. I was like, cool. It's kind of seeing her as an adult now.
Yeah.
But still in the same series.
That's cool, though. I really like that. I do know Rob Zombie is a big horror aficionado. Like, if you see his collection, he really goes old school with his collection of how much he owns in terms of the horror genre, how much he respects and worships the early days of it, and he celebrates it. And that's great. Like, all these casting decisions, that's awesome. Like, when I saw that, I thought, hey, maybe we got something here.
I was going to say, Rob Zombie alone, all his song titles are old movies, so kind of
true.
fits.
Yeah. And there's some good cinematography too in his movie, but sometimes I would see a shot and I thought, oh, that's a great shot, keep it going. But then it would cut to something else and it was very shaky cam. I would go back and say, well, I like that other shot. Can you please go back to that other shot and not do what you're doing right now, please? Oh, okay, fine. I know Rob Zombie has said that he blames a lot of the studio interfering. Like, the Weinsteins definitely had a vice grip. According to him, he said they had a grip on him in terms of his creative process with this movie, and that's why he really didn't want to do 2, but it made money. So that's ultimately what got him back into doing Halloween 2 was money.
I could see them being like a vice grip because the amount of violence he puts in his movies. As they take, for instance, look at House of Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects are so violent. I could see them being, all right, well, we're going to tone this down just a little bit because we still got to market it to the general public. We can't go, hey, by the way, we're going to brutally kill all these motherfuckers, and then you're going to show everything.
Well, another thing I remember, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast and he talked about it, and he said it was hard because you're also got a Halloween franchise, so you don't want to ruin it.
No.
Even though, look at the past movies.
There hasn't really been much to get excited about. I mean,
yeah. So I think the pressure was on him a little more from them, though. Like, especially if you're doing a reboot of the original, it's a little more like, they're at hands at your throat more.
This is true.
And I think at the time we had that was reboot, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
You out of the 3, I think Halloween and Friday the 13th are probably only two that'll ever be talked about because they're actually decent. Where Nightmare on Elm Street was not. So I guess they were trying to follow that trend of, well, if this is doing good, we'll reboot the next, and so on and so forth. So, like, with this being rebooted, so it's like, all right, now we're having a whole new, we'll call it the zombie verse of Halloween. And, like I said, it's a lot more brutal. There's a lot more swearing. So it's like, it's showing, like, more of a human side to Michael as being physically capable of doing all this stuff. And I'm still kind of like, damn.
I like Tyler Mane as Michael Myers in it. I thought he was physical, he was intimidating. I like the old school, like, The mask actually looked like the original mask.
I like how it was stitched in some certain spots. Like you could tell it was like falling apart, and he kind of like kept it together. That was kind of neat. But yeah, like you said, like his physical performance is good. Like he just breaks through any obstacle. Nothing is too big for him to take down. So that was neat.
I gotta say, I do enjoy it, but I only enjoy the part where he's an adult and it basically is the original movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can just skip the kid stuff and the family stuff.
The actress who played Laurie Strode I thought was bad.
Scout?
Yes,
that's her name, Scout?
Scout. Oh, God.
I'm not gonna lie, even the music that Zombie used in the movie actually stands out. So, like, certain bands he used, like, I know there's Kiss, Alice Cooper, and he actually made it fit the scene. Like, the one scene that always gives me chills is the Daniel Harris scene.
Only Women Bleed.
Yeah! Dude, also, I'll get, like, goosebumps. As soon as, like, the music kicks in, I'm like, you see Michael in the background, you see her and the dude on the couch, I'm like, oh my god. I was like, yo, it fits perfectly.
And the, was it Linda?
Yeah.
They were playing Don't Fear the Reaper before she gets killed.
Yeah.
Good little homage to the first one.
And it's cool. Like you said, he loves old school horror. He tried to incorporate it as much as possible, but still make it his own thing. Mm-hmm. Where the sequel itself...
I admittedly couldn't even finish that one.
Oh, there's another thing with that one. There's two versions of that.
Yeah, there are.
I own both. Because I can't help myself, because it's like there are the two versions themselves, there's different things that happen, and it changes the story just enough. Where they do go to the hospital, but it becomes a dream sequence. And then from that point on, everyone has PTSD. They all know that Michael's still out there, and then it actually shows Michael still has the mask, he's got a beard, he's been living out in the woods like a crazy person. And at one point, there was an unnecessary scene of him eating a dog after killing a bunch of people on a farm.
I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that.
But out of everything that happened in that movie, there's one bunch of sequences that Laurie is having with her mom and a white horse that pissed me off because it's unnecessary. There's no leading up to it. There's no explanation. And then all of a sudden make it seem like she's taking over for Michael eventually. No. Just fucking end it and be done. We don't need it. But the one thing out of the entire fucking movie that pisses me off is they actually have Michael Myers talk.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when Dr. Loomis is trying to bait him on and be like, what do you want, blah, blah, and all of a sudden Michael rips the mask off. You finally get to see Michael full-faced, grizzly fucking beard, and he just screams, die. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I even in the theater almost got up and go, what the fuck? Because now you went from being a monster to being a human again who hates your doctor that much. And I'm like, I think that's my biggest hatred for that movie. I'm still like reeling how much... I'm actually getting hot right now. And that was like my biggest gripe with the movie. But once again, like Zombie doing his thing with the music is what got me. Like Motorhead's The Chase is Better Than the Catch. It fit that sequence amazingly when he flips the fucking car. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, he's chasing Laurie again, and dude just happens to be driving by, she screams, gets in the car with him, he fucking pulls the dude out, flips the car. I'm like, holy fuck, I can still believe that.
There was a lot wrong with this movie to me.
The script sucked.
The script was absolutely horrible. I mean, there was actually some things that I liked about it when Laurie first found out that she was the sibling to Michael Myers. It was kind of like that Luke, I am your father moment. You know, when before... No, what I'm saying is that there was more of an impact to it. Like, she felt the emotion. Like, I'm related to this fucking creep.
Yeah.
You know, when before it was just like, oh, you know, she's related to Michael Myers. And it's like, oh. You know, in this one, she was genuinely upset.
I'm sorry, though.
What do we do?
But I think the other thing that pissed me off about that movie is they actually kill Annie Daniel Harris again brutally.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
but it was the white trash shit.
I
like,
know.
all over the two ambulance drivers.
I forgot about that.
Would they really be ambulance drivers? And then the unnecessary fuck count that the one dude says in the car accident. You're just seeing this dude going, fuck. It's like, why do we need that? That was stupid. That was low level. And then, I mean, you're waiting for Michael Myers to get out and just kill the fucking guy just to shut him up.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And then the house that Brad Dourif is living in is all trashy and just dilapidated, and I'm thinking, like, what about the suburban area?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, did we hit a depression yet at the same time? I mean, what the fuck is going on
All
here?
the characters are basically the same person, it seems like. Living style, personality, they're all the same. Even Dr. Loomis, I thought, was more of a dick in this one.
He was.
He
Like,
was
the ego
very
got to
unlikable.
him. He was writing these books, and he was sick
Oh.
and tired of hearing Michael Myers.
He got what he deserved in the end.
Oh, hell yeah, he did. Weird Al made fun of him in that
Oh,
movie.
really?
Remember, he's like, Mr. Weird. It's Al. And then Chris Hardwick was even... It was like a late night show, and it was Weird Al and Chris Hardwick, and they were making fun of him.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Wow.
Oh, dude, that movie's just... Oh, it's horrible.
Even the pizza was disgusting. Did you see that pizza? That
Yeah,
they
it looked
ordered?
gross, dude.
Oh, horrible! It just reminded me of like the disgusting humanoid pizza in Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
It might
It
be.
might have
It might have been the same
Yeah.
pizza.
No, and Rob Zombie's like, yo, we can get the Nightmare on Elm Street 4 pizza in there. You put that shit in my movie.
And make sure Lori eats a piece. That bitch needs.
Yeah. It better be vegan or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't see the whole movie full through. I couldn't. I could not watch this movie all the way through. I just watched bits and pieces of it. What I've seen is just bad. I don't know which movie of this entire saga is worse, but that's the only one that I couldn't finish. I
mean,
really
the sad
couldn't
thing
finish
is,
it.
Each two probably could have worked if it wasn't so Rob Zombie. Really, I mean, there was like an idea there that could have been a hell of a lot better, but because it was just so Rob Zombie and white trash and the unnecessary fucks and all that, like, dude, just stick to Halloween.
Yeah, I think the only part I actually enjoyed about that movie, like fully, was the dream sequence of in the hospital, because like it picks up like right after, technically the first movie, like the other movies did, and it was actually a cool sequence, but then it's all come to realize it was just a dream.
Yeah.
And I felt like Laurie was way more annoying in this movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
Absolutely.
I was starting to root for Michael after a while.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, fuck, do it already. I might.
We're like being kids back in the 80s again. You just root for the monster to kill all the people.
I think I do that now as an adult, because I'm like, fuck these kids.
Yikes.
Yeah, Dan Robick had a cameo in it. They had a pretty cool tribute with the Rocky Horror costumes in it.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
forgot
that was
about
really
that.
cool. Other than that, I really don't have much positive things to say about it. Even when I left the theater, I thought, this wasn't good. I'm literally waiting in the theater going, something's going to pick up, right? Yeah. Something's going to get better. And then that ending in the barn just ruined the whole thing. It's like, this isn't even worth watching.
I feel like if there was a third, which guaranteed it'll never be, it might have actually, like, helped this movie. But,
would it have?
Well, I think I would hopefully would have explained the horse thing. It would have explained actually Michael talking. It would have maybe explained something. Maybe Laurie actually taking over. Who knows? At this point, I want to know an answer, but yet, do I really want to sit through another hour and a half, 2 hour long movie?
Did she get shot by the cops at the very end of that movie?
That was the first one. It might be the second. Who knows anymore?
Yeah.
Like I said, there's 3 versions of the first movie, 2 versions of the second movie. The first one, there's 3 different endings. The second one, I think, is 2 different endings. Yeah. So it's like they left it to interpretation. Like I know one of the endings in the first one was Brad Dourif and the cops kill Michael. The other 2 endings are different shots of Laurie killing Michael.
Yeah.
But the second one, I think it's the cops on
Laurie stabbing him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like in the end, they pretty much want Laurie to be the, I guess, the one killing him, like the whole family ending family type thing.
I didn't see any of those movies in theaters. I waited till they came out on DVD.
Yeah, wasn't the tagline for H2 "Family is Forever"?
Yeah. And I've seen them. I saw them both in theaters, and I, like I said, enjoyed the first one. Except for that first segment, kid still creeps me out. I just got like a 1,000-mile stare because I'm like, holy crap. Second one I saw once, and I was like, all right, well, maybe the unrated cut will be better.
No.
No,
It wasn't. I remember when we were so hyped that movie came out on DVD, and they had more the unrated version than the rated version. So we had no choice but to buy the unrated version, and we were like, what's up with this rape scene and some of this other bullshit? And I was like, No. And finding the rated theatrical version was like a needle in a haystack. Like, really? Then this is the better one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it was hard to find.
Yeah.
Everyone
just bought it.
Yeah, everybody's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
And then even when I got that elaborate Blu-ray box set, they had the unrated version. I'm like, what is the fucking obsession with mass marketing?
I think I have that one too now.
Oh.
I used to have them individually, and then I was like, all right, I'll get the box set kind of condensed. But
yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Luckily, 2018 came along, and we got the best Halloween sequel since the first one. I mean, hands down.
Yeah.
Easily.
There's no debate for that. It is easily the best one, and I'm glad that Halloween 2018 decided to say, hey, remember all those movies that came out? Fucking erase all of them, even the sister thing. They even hint at that in the 2018 movie. Wasn't like I heard a rumor. I heard something that Laurie Strode was the sister of Michael Myers. No. That was a rumor. That's not true at all.
That's like stupid or something too. Like made it even funnier, and the kids just start smoking a joint. I'm like, that's it. That's how we're gonna just bypass this whole thing.
That's exactly how we're gonna do it. Yes.
They did it right in 2018. I love that movie.
I think my biggest take back from when I originally heard that they're gonna reboot it again, and the fact that Danny McBride, his name was a writer. My brain's going, this fucking dick and fart joke guy is gonna write a horror movie. I'm like, all right. I was like, I'll just wait. I'll wait because I admit Danny McBride's a funny dude, but known for dick and fart jokes.
Yeah.
And weed, lots of weed. Anyway,
a lot of weed.
I was like, so when I heard that, I was like that, and then I heard like John Carpenter's coming back, Nick Castle. They even got I call Laurie Strode now after calling her Jamie Lee Curtis for how long. They got her to come back, so I was like, all right, cool. So, but I think that was actually the most impressive sequel I'm actually going to admit to.
Yes.
In a long time.
I'm going to agree. I really will.
I saw it twice in theaters, and I don't normally see horror movies twice in theaters. It's usually once and done. I'm like, I had that feeling where I watched it and I missed something.
Yeah.
Because like the first watch through, you're sitting there just like, holy fuck. Hey, what's that? And then as you're watching the second through, you start noticing all the other shit you missed. But like even just the first watch through the trailer, you saw that they took every little Easter egg they could from 2 on to fucking Resurrection. They could and put it in there. Like the one that stood out the most was the masks from
Halloween 3.
Yeah, Season of the Witch.
Yes.
And I was so ecstatic. Lexi was like, "What?
What did you find now,
Yeah,
Jim?
I was like the mask." She goes, "Never mind."
You just wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. I saw that right away in the trailer. It was a very impressive trailer. And going back to what you were saying about Danny McBride and being a little concerned that this is a guy known for dick and fart jokes, but then I remembered that same year or the year before where he delivered a recognizable performance in Alien Covenant where his comedic chops were put on the back burner, and he actually was a very serious actor.
He was a good character in that movie.
And I thought, okay, this guy does have a serious side. Maybe he is going to give a respectful, serious treatment to Halloween 2018. And lo and behold, he did. They did get a really good director, too. He made the movie Stronger with Jake Gyllenhaal, which got me sold. Like, okay, this guy could do a good job. Because I remember Your Highness. He made that movie. He made Your Highness with Danny McBride. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should be a little worried. But then I realized, oh, Stronger. That was a really well-told movie. Maybe this guy's better than I think.
That's why you can't judge a director on just one movie.
No, you can't.
Or a genre. Because sometimes they just need to really expand their horizons more. Or sometimes when it's a first sort of project, or depending on who the producer or the studio is that they're working with, if they're going that route, they could cause so many issues that can just congest the vision of what they're trying to achieve. Plus, you got to remember the scheduling that they got to do to get actors and the crew. It's hard, man. I mean, and then they got a deadline yet as to when they got to do it, and then the budget. It's like people don't understand the stress of that actually goes into making a movie. They just think, oh, you just point the camera, set up some lights, and boom, it's done. No.
These are 20-hour days that we're talking about.
Oh my god, you can even have audio issues and stupid shit. Like there was a Pirates of the Caribbean blooper where they were outside and a plane goes by and Johnny Depp goes, "Is that a plane?" It's like, yeah, that happens. And sometimes it happens more than once.
Yeah. There's a lot involved in the filmmaking process. Oh yeah, it's not a life for everybody. It's definitely not. If you can't handle the long hours and waiting around, and then when the day comes or the moment comes where your scene's coming up, make sure your fucking lines are off book. Make sure you hit your marks and make sure you know what you're doing.
That's
Don't
the other
slip
thing.
up.
Actors can forget lines.
Don't slip up, because this is important. We're thousands of dollars are being spent every minute. So, shape up and do your job. But yeah, everyone did their job in this movie.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I can take away, is that everybody, the studio, the crew, the cast, everybody did their fucking job.
It was the most serious Halloween out of all of them.
And I think the most true to the original.
Yeah, It does feel like a sequel to the very first one.
Yeah.
I mean, even to me, the second one doesn't really. It has continuity, but I still feel like it kind of lacks. And to tell you the truth, I think the age gap really helps with it.
Oh yeah, dude. The fact that they actually waited the 40 years to put this one out and actually continued that story alone, it helps. Like it made it realize, like, yeah, dude, it's been this long. He's been in an insane asylum for this long, and he's actually an old man now.
Mm-hmm. And they explained that he got caught by the one sheriff who was helping him out in the 2018 movie.
Yeah.
And they said, like, yeah, remember he was a kid or a rookie that night when they caught Michael Myers after he attacked you, Laurie. And
Yeah.
so, they played it well. Like, they explained things. Like, I don't really think there was too many things that weren't explained that made you raise your eyebrow to anything.
No, they were like making sure there was like rarely any plot holes, and it just kept moving forward. They weren't trying to like, we're gonna dwell on this for a little bit. No, we're gonna explain it, move on, do a scene, move on. And it's a 2-hour long movie, if not more, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just carry the structure and stay on task. That's what it did. Trying to think, and I really two things that stuck out with me is that this movie did a better job. I know H2O did a little bit of it, but this movie did a better job at selling Laurie's paranoia and psychosis, and how that really impacted her, on why was she targeted 40 years ago, and she's training herself to be a skilled marksman. She's living out in the woods in seclusion, just in the event that if this guy ever fucking gets out, I'm gonna be prepared and I'm gonna take your ass down. It did a better job than H2O, and this movie said, fuck H2O, fuck those other movies, and then 2018 came out and said, let's see what Laurie Strode can do 40 years from now. Seriously.
They did a much better job.
They did.
Even like certain scenes that were shot, like, so if there was a character in the foreground and they're talking, and if you look, you can actually see Michael's in the background doing something. So like, there's the reporters pumping gas, you see that his truck pull up, you see him get out, you see him go in the auto body shop. And the next scene, the guy goes to pay, all of a sudden everyone's dead, and you can still see him in the background beating the shit out of someone with a hammer. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Or what is it? When he goes in the neighborhood, he gets the butcher knife for the first time, and he's walking in between the houses, and you see a woman looking out her window. You see him in the background once again going in the side of the house. He comes in and stabs her in the back of the head. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Just boom. Yeah. And
the baby.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I was going to bring up.
Oh.
How truly evil is this guy? But he recognizes the baby's not going to do anything to me, so I'm just going to walk past it.
After he just killed a kid earlier, so you're thinking, holy fuck, is he going to do it? And no, he just walks by.
Yeah, I forgot about the kid. Like, straight up just...
Yeah. He, like, bashes his head up against the
or breaks his neck or something. He does something to the kid. He murders him straight up.
He was in that truck, and he bashes him in the...
bashes
his head against the window.
For fucking going into great detail about this, great guys.
And they do the one-shot take where he's going through the houses, and he just gets one weapon after another, and like the shock of the woman's face where she sees an intruder inside her house, she can't react fast enough, and he just kills her straight up as she's babysitting the baby. But
the kid, the one friend was babysitting, he was hilarious.
Oh, he was funny. They're talking about doing weed. He's like, what you guys talking about?
Actually, I think that one of the sequences I thought was funniest was that kid, but they actually show the girl falling over nothing and why. Because like she goes to run away from Michael after smashing his foot in the fucking door, which would piss me off.
My only explanation for that would be that she was on laminated hardwood floors and she had socks on.
Well, I was gonna say the transfer from carpet to laminate floor with socks on and trying to run. Yeah, she fucking eats it.
Not a good idea.
Yeah,
if anybody thinks that's bullshit, no, you're an idiot.
Put it this way, I almost did it earlier before we did this.
Oh man, and one thing that I thought that this movie nailed and is actually making a Halloween movie scary again. They had so many elaborate setups with the strobe light effect with the kid as he just inches his way closer and closer to him with the light going out.
Oh yeah, in the
coming
backyard.
back on in the backyard.
That was so
It was a
cool.
great scene. And then when Laurie's going up against him with the mannequins in the room, you have no idea where the fuck he is, and he just shows up out of nowhere and just gets her. This movie does a great job at creating suspense, and it brought a few chills.
Oh yeah,
The first time in so long.
I think the one thing I always say about this movie that it had a missed potential. When that kid in the backyard, he's trying to climb over that fence, and the fence has those spiked tops. Instead of just reaching up and pulling him down while he was already at the top, all he did was stab him in the back. I go, you guys just missed a perfect potential. But then everyone's like, it's not Jason, it's Michael. He wouldn't just, heh.
I think you would though.
That's what I said. I'm like, yo, he's here to kill people. I go, why would you raise your hand with a knife when you can just grab the back of his shirt?
Yeah.
He did do it though. Eventually, you do see the spike going through the kid's shit
after he stabbed him in the
yes.
back. I'm like, come on.
Oh, and we forgot to mention John Carpenter and his son came back and did the soundtrack for the movie.
Yeah.
It's a great score.
And after, I think one of my favorite tracks is after that scene, when Allison, the granddaughter of Laurie Strode, comes back and finds the kid. I think it's called the shape haunts Allison.
I think so.
I thought that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. My favorite is Halloween Triumph at the very end, where they just extend the theme song, but they add and incorporate new instruments. It's a great piece of music. That's why I got it, and that's why I wanted to stay to the very end of the credits, because I wanted to hear the entire song.
And at the very end of the credits, you hear Michael Myers breathing, and they said that that's Nick Castle doing the
nice
the breathing.
That's wonderful.
He did it again too. They showed him on Twitter. He had like the hand sanitizer and all the other stuff in the studio, and he was recording breathing again for the next one.
That's awesome.
That's great.
But there's actually a cool, feature on the Blu-ray or 4K. It actually shows John and his son and the one other guy doing the music. And it was, they're actually using a guitar and then a bow for, like, a violin to get different sounds on the guitar.
Oh, like Jimmy Page in it.
Yeah, and it was kind of cool. Like, he was, like, moving it along. He's playing it, and all of a sudden you'll pull it out and just, like, go strum it on. And I'm like, that's where you're getting those all, like, weird little effects. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I would have never even thought about that.
Really cool stuff.
But I think the two things that stand out for me in that movie were the fact that Laurie's daughter,
Judy Greer,
is wearing a Christmas sweater while it's Halloween because of how much they were not allowed to celebrate Halloween. And then her performance alone at the end, when she makes it feel she's frightened. Michael steps up and she goes, I got you. Shoots him in the fucking neck. I'm like, oh my God.
That caught me off guard. Then you just see the silhouette of Jamie Lee Curtis in the shadow. Happy Halloween. Shoves him down. Just reminiscent of the first movie.
There was a lot of shots they recreated, but switching roles of Michael and Jamie.
Laurie.
And Jamie. Yeah.
and Laurie.
Yeah.
Jamie Laurie.
Yeah. But yeah, like they did an amazing job. I'm still impressed with it.
Mm-hmm. And they actually changed the ending because they said that there was a test screening and the ending they thought sucked. I guess originally Laurie was supposed to die, and it was going to be like a kind of going down in a blaze of glory sort of thing.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if that was that or if it was they did kill Michael Myers in the movie, and then the doctor actually becomes the new Michael Myers.
Yeah, I heard
think
something
that
about
was
that
what
too.
audiences really didn't like.
Well, hell,
or
I
something
didn't
like that.
I didn't like the moment where he killed the sheriff and put the mask on. I was like, what?
I didn't
Why?
I didn't like that. I didn't like that either. It was I guess unnecessary.
Yeah, I felt that it was unnecessary. I didn't really care for the doctor in general anyway. I know that they said, oh, you're the new Loomis, but
He was fine. I did like when he said, say something. Michael just stomps on his head and just turns his brains into soup. That was kind of cool.
that was kind of like a neat Achilles heel for that guy because the granddaughter's trying to get out of the backseat of the cop car and Michael's all inebriated. And, she's scared shitless that he's going to wake up. And she said, oh, he talked to me. And he's like, what'd he say? It's like, that was his Achilles heel.
And he still didn't fucking say something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
That was the one thing I did enjoy. Him not talking.
I don't
He
want him
didn't
to
say
talk.
die. He
I
didn't.
didn't even need to see his face. I know they kind of like gave
Hinted,
a little hints,
yeah.
and I heard some people say, we didn't see his face. I'm like,
You don't need to
what
see
do you
his
care?
face.
It's an old guy.
Yeah.
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 Old guy locked up in an insane asylum with other crazy patients around him, and then they just get all excited when the mask is shown.
It's like when we were talking earlier about how the first Friday the 13th and original Halloween kind of seem tame today because of the desensitization that we have. Like, the first time you see Michael Myers, you're expecting a Freddy or Jason face under the mask. It's like, no, it's just a guy.
Yeah.
So that's why when people are like, well, I didn't see his face in the new one, it's like, it's just a guy.
Yeah.
What does it matter? It's kind of, to me, it's kind of like if nobody knew who the fuck Bruce Wayne is, and you unmask Batman, it's just gonna be a guy.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a dude with the mask.
Yeah.
Nobody important. Get out of here.
Yeah. He's just a 61-year-old old man. On paper, that's what he is.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like the fact that they would show like little hints. Like when he was in the hospital, you get to see over the shoulder a little bit, see his face. Like I like the fact of not seeing what he actually looks like.
He looked like he was blind in one shot. Like he's actually like the whites in his eyes.
You think about it, he got stabbed in the eye with a knitting needle in the first movie, so that would lead up to that.
That's true.
So it's like they did look at continuity, which makes it a little bit better. So they took the time and effort to look for things to add.
Mm-hmm.
Made the mask look aged again.
Yeah.
I think it looked better than what it did in Rob Zombie's movie.
Oh, I think it did too.
And then they did what a sequel does and what it should do, is continue the story instead of rehashing everything of what it did.
So that, and they also left it, if they weren't able to greenlight another sequel, they left it at where it could have been done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, always going to have an opening because it's a horror film, but it could have just been done. Because the way that ends, and that whole elaborate trap that she set up for 40 fucking years comes to fruition and burns the fucking place down with him in it. I'm like expecting him to just pop right up at the end. And no, it literally is just like, oh, he's on fire and he's going to die in there. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
And then we see the trailer for Halloween Kills, and you actually, the opening moment, you see the fire engines heading towards the house, and Jamie Lee Curtis is screaming, no, let it burn, don't put it out, because that just means he's going to get out now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for a Halloween fan.
It is. Thank you, 2018, for making up for the other disaster sequels that followed.
For real.
Seriously.
Honestly, if you took notice, I barely talked about the sequels. Because
you
guys are like going back and forth. I'm like, yeah, fuck those movies. But like, I think the only ones that stick out are always going to be 78 and 2018.
Yes.
And then 4 and Zombies, because Zombies is always going to be a zombie flick. And
yeah.
That's always going to stick out because, like I said, the dude is big, a monstrous character, and played by a big monstrous guy. So yeah, it's going to have that effect.
He did make it his own. I mean, Carpenter did tell Rob Zombie to make it his own, and he did. Yeah. I can't say it's great, but he did make it his own.
Oh, yeah.
But when you do a classic like the original Halloween that you don't really... I mean, there's really no need to retouch anything in that because it's made so well for such a low budget.
Yeah.
Like, one movie that I would say, if you're going to remake and just do it shot for shot with a new budget, would be Nightmare on Elm Street. Because everything about that movie was just so fucking awesome. But because the budget was so low, you know, you just might as well, if you do it, you might as well just redo everything shot for shot and just make it better.
Listen, I don't want anybody to touch that movie again.
Listen, I don't want anything to happen to it
Never
either.
ever again.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, as
Jackie
an
Earle
example,
Haley, I love you, but the movie around you was bad. I tried so hard. I really tried to like that movie.
I didn't. I left the theater. My brother-in-law, it was me, my girlfriend at the time, my sister, and my brother-in-law. We all went to see it. And my sister and Jen went into the bathroom, and Bill was hanging out with me, and he goes, we didn't say anything for a few seconds, and he just goes, it was a good movie. And I said, no, it wasn't.
Stop lying. Stop lying.
I was the same way. Like, I was quiet for 3 days, because I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah. The trailers got me too excited. They really did. And then I realized they showed too much.
It wasn't even that. They just failed miserably with it.
They did fail miserably. I felt like there was a lot of things in that movie that were shot specifically for the trailer, and they had no intention of putting them in the movie.
Well, they had a whole different opening, and then they had to go back and read. Like, originally they were going to have a pool opening?
Yeah.
With the dude from the diner from Twilight that
Uh-huh.
died?
Yeah.
He was going to die with like another pool party like in Elm
nice.
Street too.
I would have watched that one instead.
Yeah.
I would have too.
Bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
That's the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Maybe we'll get to that later on, but
Well, you know we will.
we definitely will. The Halloween franchise, despite its ups and downs, it did redeem itself in 2018, and we're all very excited to see the next two movies that come out in 2021 and 2022, I think, because did Halloween Ends? I wonder if they actually concluded production, if they actually shot that movie.
I know they were filming at the same time.
Because it seemed like they were filming it back to back,
Yeah.
just to keep the continuity and everything fresh.
Well, say that, and John Carpenter's old, and they want to keep him.
They want to keep him as a producer as long as it is, because I know he's been a producer for movies he does not give a shit about, but he definitely cared about this one because he saw the potential, and then being back with his son to compose the music and do a revamped version of it. There's another movie that he produced that he did not give a shit about, which we will talk about later. With a special guest, hopefully, for that one. But you know what I'm talking about. And just the hate that's boiling inside me right now is really trying to keep it all down. Because it just wants to spill out completely. But we're going to wait for another time. Yes, the Halloween franchise is not perfect, but it is a cut above the majority of the other horror franchises. I still think Evil Dead's probably the best one. Because I don't see a single rotten egg in that entire franchise. We already talked about it with the 3 movies, the sequel, and the TV show.
Well,
there's also not as many.
Yeah, say if you go from a 3-movie franchise with three seasons, I said 4, 3 seasons, and 1 remake, it's gonna look better than 13 movies.
This is true.
I'd say even if you jump to like Nightmare on Elm Street, like same thing, 8 movies. That's a lot of shitty stuff that could happen in 8 movies. Friday the 13th, same reasoning. So you're now spread across 40-some years, 40 years of different movies, different people's ideas, different shots, different masks. So everything's going to change over time.
Yeah.
Like, they should have just kept the baseline there. They didn't even do a baseline. They're like, there you go. Here's one idea. Oh, that's my paycheck. Thank you. I'm going to put this here. Oh, here's another idea.
That is the cause of some of the downfall moments in Halloween. Money.
Yeah,
just like everything else.
Of everything.
Money.
Yeah, that was the same thing with Friday the 13th. They knew they were trash, but you could crank them out and they made money.
I heard Paramount was embarrassed by that franchise.
They shouldn't be. They made a lot of money.
They make a lot of money, but I wish they did a better job with Manhattan because...
They wanted to. They really did, and then budget restraints just totally tore that movie apart.
I have a feeling our next one might be Friday the 13th because I keep bringing it up.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
That'd be a lot of fun too.
Because as you heard John scream about different Halloweens, I will probably scream a lot about Friday the 13th. As much as I love that series more than Halloween.
I'm sure you will scream a lot about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, I'll be the first to admit right now that the very first Nightmare on Elm Street movie scared the shit out of me as a kid. I mean, I have trauma effects from it. I mean, I get weirded out sleeping on my back because of one scene.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm excited for these.
Yeah.
But I mean, Robert Englund's just the man, and Wes Craven too. Oh my god, what a combo! And then I think they had some of the best impactful movies was in Elm Street. Like you had 1 that had an impact. 3 was fucking awesome. 4 was entertaining, but then Nightmare on Elm Street, was it 7 or Wes Craven's
New Nightmare? Yeah.
Was like holy fuck, dude.
A return to form.
That was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was so fucking incredible.
It was fucking
and original.
Scary.
Yeah.
It was original too.
That was more of a reboot in a way than an actual reboot. It was like a reboot not trying to be one. It's weird to describe, but I mean, we'll get in depth with it when we get to it.
You kind of have to see it to understand what we're talking about.
And that really is like one of my favorites. I mean, and they're all like Wes Craven involved. Like 1, 3, and New Nightmare all had Wes Craven somehow involved with it.
Well, it's his baby.
Yeah. Well, they said after the first one he kind of like really got distant. Yeah. But then it wasn't until New Nightmare where him and Bob Shea came back and said, "Yo, let's make amends and
Right.
do something again.
Let's do better than Freddy's Dead.
Oh God, I'm so glad they did. I will say this too, because Freddy vs. Jason is by far like one of my favorites out of both of those franchises. I love that movie so damn much. It was like, it was the best fucking Carnage Candy crossover ever.
I think I saw that 3 times in theaters.
That was great. I love that movie. I never get enough of it.
I think that'd be the major problem though, because we always have that talk of Michael versus Jason. When you have 2 non-talking characters,
That'd be boring.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh no. I'm gonna run away from him. I'd rather it'd be like Rocky and Apollo Creed. I'd rather watch something like that.
And Freddy vs. Jason was Robert Englund's last movie as Freddy.
Yeah. There's always that possibility that maybe he'll come back in the other one if they decide to do another one, but that's neither here nor there. I mean,
that's a big we'll see.
Yeah.
That's gotta be like a Halloween 2018 where they gotta make sure it's right. I know you pitched that one idea about like people with their different ideas and whatnot, but I got a better idea, and I like mine more.
Of course you do, but
that
wasn't my idea. That was
I know
an
it's
idea
not your idea, but that's another reason why I like mine better.
Oh my God,
you dick.
No, I mean because like some other assholes are coming up with something, and I'm like, you really want a movie where Robert Englund's not going to be Freddy in it that much? His last fucking movie?
Because he's old.
Yeah. I'm like, have him in it!
Yeah.
Not this bullshit. Then it's Friday the 13th, whatever the fuck it is, Jason Goes to Hell. It's like, this is the last movie and he's barely in it. No, fuck you. And then the director said there's like 6 or 7 other movies with him in a hockey mask. Just go watch them. No, fuck you, dude. Make the fucking movie with Jason in it if it's his last one. Fuck off. What kind of fucking director are you? I want to take Jason out of it. Out of the last movie? What kind of moron are you?
I would say on that note, is there a favorite thing about Halloween that you like?
Yeah, let's get back to that. Oh, that's great.
Oh, fuck it.
Oh.
Yeah, usually it's Jeff who gets this.
Yeah, I think we all got heated at some point during this episode.
I've been tame the
All right,
past
here,
couple.
I'm going to say this about the director of Jason Goes to Hell. So you're telling me that you want to take Jason out of the majority of the last movie that he's supposed to be in? Fuck off.
I think he's in for 15 minutes altogether. Beginning to end.
That's terrible.
Hour and a half long movie. Now you're going to get me going.
Yeah.
See what you're starting.
We're going to wait till maybe we tackle the Friday the 13th franchise and just have like Jeff take the reins on that one. Because it's going to be a 5-minute straight scream fest.
Probably like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Just
My
breather.
God,
Oh, man.
Smash the chair that I'm sitting in right now.
But, yes.
Or shit.
Like, favorite things about Halloween, I mean, just, like I said, the first 4 of the Halloween movies, I will watch anytime. And then 2018. If I had to create my own timeline of this, or what should or shouldn't be in the Michael Myers saga, I would be okay if we had honestly got 1, 2, 4, 7 changed, altered, drastically changed, or maybe just no, fuck 7. Okay, so I would just do 1, 2, 4, and then 2018, because they could do something that we talked about with Danielle Harris being like the possibility of this new Michael Myers, this new entity, and she gets locked away, and then maybe there's a case study that's being done on her, if that was going to be the sequel for 5 and not what we got. But I'd be okay with watching 1, 2, 4, maybe an alternate 5, and then go to 2018. I'd be okay with that. That's great. And then 3, like we said, it's entertaining as hell. I will watch it anytime because it gives me the good feel of an actual Halloween movie taking place on Halloween. But, I mean, that's my 2 cents. 5, 6, 7, and 8 can fuck off forever. I hate those movies.
Gone?
Well, I always gotta respect the classic movie because I love cinema so much. Of course, I still find joy in the original John Carpenter's Halloween. I can plug that in at any time. Doesn't matter if it's Halloween season or not. Puts me in the Halloween mood. And even when it's not the Halloween season, especially during summer, I'm like, fuck, man, I wish it was fall. I watch that probably the most. 2018, I believe, is the best sequel, hands down. I have grown on Halloween 3. I remember in the previous podcast I said I didn't really like it, but like the more we talked about it, and even when we watched it for that show, I do enjoy it, and I always appreciated what they were trying to do for the anthology series. I think it would still work to this day, although I think because of, like we said before, you started the current with Michael Myers, calling it Halloween, it's kind of hard to reverse it now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you started like a Samhain franchise, which is basically the same thing, just Irish.
They could call it the Samhain franchise.
Yeah,
That
they
would
could.
Be really neat.
They really could. And maybe we should try that. It'd be awesome.
Hasn't been done yet, so let's do it.
That's true. And I can watch Halloween 2. I appreciate it. I watch Halloween 4 because I find it entertaining. Sometimes I watch 5 just because 5 used to be back-to-back with Halloween 4 on AMC. And because of growing up in that atmosphere and in the fall season, it always put me in the mood. Is it one of the better movies? Absolutely not. It's like so boring. I mean, like, it's one of those movies where like I can at least have on, walk away and hear it in the background, or go to the bathroom or something, and then go back and say like, oh, did like the part where they get to the house happen? You know?
Not the house.
Yeah. 6. I'd rather watch the trailer. Because the trailer's actually really cool, I think.
Yeah, I still have the Crow VHS.
Yeah, I think it's... Well, you could just go on YouTube and watch it.
I know, but...
I enjoy H2O for what it is, although I don't watch it a lot, especially because now we have 2018. I feel like I can just totally disregard it. But if it's on, it's like, yeah, I can probably plug it in. I can't say I hate it. I hate Resurrection more. That was just a dumb fucking concept altogether. I'd rather watch Halloween 6 and 5. Rob Zombie, I gotta skip the first part of the first movie and just go straight to the meat and potatoes of the story. That was basically the first movie. And H2...
You can probably just watch the first part of that.
That says it right there. Just the fact that you have nothing to say.
I'm sorry. I mean, I said positive things about it, but it's not enough to garner me to go back and watch it again. Unless we do an episode on it.
We don't have to do an episode.
Jeff just like,
Even I'm shaking my head too. Like, no, we don't have to do that. Jeff?
Honestly, like, I've mentioned a lot of things I like about the certain movies. Like, I don't like the franchise as a whole. Like, as we were talking, you heard me profess my love for Friday the 13th. But I do enjoy the first one. I love the whole concept of the killer not really knowing who the fuck it is. And that's what I loved about the series, like, that one in 2018. Like, they still kept it as a story by itself, and then you still don't know who the killer is. And the whole brother thing I still thought was bullshit. That's why I really don't like 2. It doesn't have the same feel. It kind of seems like a bullshit sequel. 3, obviously, I'm gonna love no matter what because it's ridiculous and robots and killer masks.
Atkins.
Yeah, Tom fucking Atkins. And then you get 4, like, the introduction of Danielle Harris was really cool. Getting to see her, like, her acting chops is what really stands out in those 2 movies. That's probably the only good thing about them because, like I said, I'm not big on the sequels. I own them all. The only one I watch is 3.
You know, in that box set, I gotta admit, the documentaries that come with them are probably better than the movie.
Yeah, I'm probably actually check out the documentaries because, like, that's the one thing I'm always looking for. I was like, as I'm getting older, as much as I love these movies, I enjoy the documentaries more. Like, Crystal Lake Memories, Never Sleep Again. I really love those, but they're 4 and 8 hours long, so it's like...
They're pretty lengthy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they are because we got so much info from those movies.
Yeah. And I was like, zombies, they had the potential, but like you said, it kind of... Yeah,
white trash bullshit.
And like I said, the few sequences in there that really stuck out actually were what the soundtrack helped. So the Danielle Harris scene was what stuck out to me, still gives me goosebumps. I think it's mainly because of Alice Cooper's Only Women Bleed and the whole sequence of him beating the living shit out of her. It kind of makes it like more chilling. And on the 2018's Judy Greer, her performance in that is still like the most impressive. Because like I always see her as a kind of a side character, more of a funny actress rather than serious. Yeah, Archer. Yeah. And like seeing her as a serious actress, it was kind of cool. And then finally seeing the switch from panic, fear to badass. I'm like, oh fuck.
Mm-hmm. A daughter dealing with her psychotic mother.
Oh yeah, that was impressive. And then, yeah, like I really can't bitch about 2018 at all. Like as much as I like bitching about movies, it's like yeah, I have like gripes, but it's like it's a 40-year sequel. What am I gonna expect? Like I'm not gonna expect fucking roses, but.
Another thing about the Halloween franchise to me is, like you and I, Jeff, we met Nick Castle, and he was like one of the greatest guys ever. Totally awesome. I mean, he just, like I said, I'll tell the story till the day I die, that how he had a line, but when I told him I was a film student, and he sat me down next to him, and his manager's like, Nick, come on, you got to move it up. And he's like, no, I'm talking here.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
That's really cool.
To have somebody like that in such a classic movie and to take the time to talk to me about just filmmaking and love for movies, that is something I'll never forget from him. It's like, I'm talking movies with Michael Myers.
Yeah.
He just seemed like a nice guy who liked to have a lot of fun. I love that image of him with the Michael Myers mask over his head as he's trying to enjoy a beer or a
Dr.
drink
Pepper.
or something. Dr. Pepper, okay. I like to imagine it's a beer. It's like a black and white photo. But it'd been awesome if it was a beer. But it just the guy had a sense of humor to him, and he really
He
did.
directed Major Pain.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And he directed Tap with Gregory Hines.
Oh really?
Yeah. Which, ironically, my sister met Gregory Hines. Yeah, she danced with him on stage.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a funny correlation there.
I was going to say, wasn't he in that Starfighter?
Yeah, he
movie?
directed
Okay.
Starfighter.
Okay, I didn't know if he was in it. He directed it.
Maybe he had a cameo. I know he also co-wrote Escape from New York
That's cool.
with John Carpenter.
That's really cool.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like,
he definitely makes Michael Myers his own with the head turning and then with a couple little bits and pieces of the character. That was all him.
And that's another thing we forgot to mention is that 2018 was the first time it felt like the original Michael Myers. I know
Yes.
some people like Dick Warlock from the second one, but I felt like he was too robotic. I didn't hate the guy from the fourth one, but I mean he was okay.
George P. Wilbur.
Yeah. 5, forget it.
I'm sorry, I was laughing like a fucking child over Dick
Dick
Warlock.
Warlock.
Jeff, grow up.
I know. Every time I hear it, I'm like, Dick Warlock.
Yeah, the other Michael Myers, besides James Jude Courtney, didn't even come close to what Nick Castle emulated. So, I mean, I do like Tyler Mane just because he was different. He fit the zombie movie. I can't really say in comparison because that's not fair. But it's more like if you like the movie, you like Tyler Mane.
Yeah.
If you like Tyler Mane, you'll like him in that movie.
Obviously, he's the one that's going to stand out. And Ken Foree.
Literally.
And Forey. I think we talked about almost everything. Wow.
Yeah.
I
that's
just
great.
finished eating a Taco Deluxe Supreme, so I'm gonna be a while. Joe Grizzly, bitch.
I'm gonna cut that mask right off your face. I love that actor.
That's a funny shit, man.
So that's what you're saying. The best thing to come out of Rob Zombies was some of the one-liners.
Oh, hell yeah.
We talked about a good amount, and I think just enough.
Well, this was a fun franchise to talk about. I mean, obviously it made an impact on our lives because we're talking about it to this day. Even when there were sequels or just whispers of sequels, we were all excited about it. I mean, Halloween's just a classic that'll go down in cinema history from all time. I mean, it's on one of those, 1001 movies you must see before you die.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And just the backstory of how that movie got made alone, just like any great classic. You hear the disasters from Jaws and Terminator, and Halloween had a fair amount of issues as well.
Yeah.
And seeing what they did. And John Carpenter is just so talented as a filmmaker. I mean, he's got a resume of incredible films.
Yeah. For them to get Donald Pleasance, giving the majority of their budget to him and his trailer to be in this movie, because Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee both turned down those roles. And even Christopher Lee met up with Deborah Hill and John Carpenter at a party after the movie was done and said, I just made the biggest career mistake of my entire life. It's possible, even though Christopher Lee's a legend. He's played almost every monster, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy. He's played them all with the Hammer Horror logo. This could have reinvigorated him with American Pictures in the 70s and 80s.
and then it went to Donald Pleasance. And let's face it, I mean, for as amazing as Donald Pleasance is in the resume of things he has, this is what he's known for.
Yeah,
It is.
And he was proud of it. You know, he wasn't one of those like, oh, fuck the Halloween franchise.
No,
Erwin Yablans even said, Donald, when do you think you're going to stop? And he said, I think I'll stop at 22. Why that number, I have no idea, or what significance he's referencing, but it was just funny. Because even Erwin Yablans said he was going to stop at 22 as well, because that's what Donald had told him. But then unfortunately, Erwin Yablans, I believe he's Iraqi or he's Iranian. He actually, unfortunately, died in a bombing.
That was Mustafa Akkad.
Oh, Mustafa Akkad, yeah.
And his daughter, they were killed in a bombing overseas from a terrorist attack.
Oh, fuck, then I've been screwing up. It was Mustafa Akkad who said most of that shit that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was him. Unfortunately, who passed away from a
But
bombing.
his son, I think, has some sort of hand in with...
Yeah, he's producing. He produced the 2018 one.
Yeah, and the zombie ones.
Oh,
Really
he
had
did?
a hand in
Okay.
those. Because I saw the name and I said, okay.
Akkad, okay.
Boom.
Oh my god.
That was bad. I wish we'd end it right there.
Now I hate you again. We're doing good.
Always hated me.
We were doing good. Didn't have to say I hated you. Now I hate you again.
So you guys have anything else to add?
I'm good.
I figured after 2-hour mark we've probably said it all.
Well, I think that's a good way to end it.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, that is the Halloween franchise in a nutshell. And with that being said, we shall sign off. This is Colin Peters.
John Rochetter.
And Jeff Manfred.
Stay safe. Stay crazy.
Please, somebody help me.
Oh yeah.